Hey everybody, what is going on? Welcome to the Multiplayer Podcast. Today with me, of course, is Hayden. How you doing?
I'm good.
Awesome. And Tyler.
Hey, how's it going, everyone?
And we might have another guest joining us in, a little bit. We'll see. They got caught up at work, so, we'll find out if they can join us tonight or not. But either way, we're going to hop into some Halo and mess around and talk about all the stuff. We've kind of already started talking, which happens all
Yeah,
the
we
time.
might have wanted to stop doing that for a minute.
Well, normally we get together early to set things up, and then we just start talking about all sorts of stuff. And now
Make sure we don't have any technical difficulties in the beginning.
Exactly.
Oh,
now
God.
I also see that my audio and Master Chief Collection is still very high, so actually I need to change that.
Oh,
I don't even see you in Master Chief Collection right now.
I'm about to say it's should be loading up here in a second.
Oh, okay.
I was about to say you just came up for Master Chief Collection.
Yep, there we go.
Yeah.
All right, yep, showing. So let's lower the volume here. I forgot I had it up because I was just playing some campaign by myself, all by my lonesome.
Me.
Okay. So we're gonna lower all these. I
Mm.
don't want to hear any other people in voice chat. I just want to hear y'all.
Yeah, we're the only ones that matter.
Yeah.
So the conversation right now has been kind of. How would you describe it, Tyler?
Movie centric.
Yeah, that's how I would describe it.
So we've basically been discussing kind of the effects, I guess, how the modern Marvel movies have had, kind of on, well, I guess the industry as a whole in a way. So I mean, again, I guess we can start kind of back from the beginning. So Tyler, what was kind of your original thought, or I think Hayden was actually saying, what was your thoughts on it at first?
On what? The Marvel
Just-
movies, or
Yeah, just like how they've kind of, I guess, affected it. You said that basically they were, or you were quoting someone saying they were like
Well-
amusement rides in a way.
oh,
Well, I
Yeah,
think what he was
I-
mainly saying, he was mainly commenting on director Martin Scorsese's comments about Marvel, which basically he just said that they weren't real. Well, he got quoted saying that they weren't real cinema, and that they were nothing but theme park rides.
which I highly doubt that that's exactly what he said. I mean,
No, and
everybody
he even
loves
clarified.
those
He
little-
clarified that that's not really what he meant.
Or about to say,
Yeah.
how often do we just sometimes say stuff and kind of exaggerate what we really mean in a way, right? Like, at least I know I'm
Right.
guilty of this all the fucking time, where like I'll exaggerate something to a very like dramatic degree, and just it's like I don't mean entirely what I'm saying, more so just in that realm, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So I mean, when he says it's not real cinema, what he could really be meaning is a sense of it's not meaningful, maybe in a sense of maybe story development. Maybe it's very corporatized in a way, which is kind of what a lot of people complain about in the first place. So that could be
Yeah,
kind of
I think
also
he-
rings by it.
And I kind of wish I reread his New York Times article in response to that quote, because he was getting heavily bashed for that.
Which, for one, it's kind of funny. 'cause a lot of
It was
people-
stupid. It was stupid for him to get bashed for saying that.
Well, here's what kind of makes me laugh about some of that is that a lot of people bash him saying, well, everyone's entitled to their own opinion, damn it. Well, so is he.
Yeah, no, that's
Yeah.
the big thing. He's
same-
entitled to his opinion just like everyone else is.
Like, he didn't say everyone else who disagrees is stupid. He just said, I don't think that the Marvel movies are real cinema. He doesn't need to put, in my opinion.
Well, he was
of
mainly
everything he
saying
said.
that it was just stuff. It was movies that just didn't really connect to him.
Yeah.
He says that he understands that if people like are growing up around the time of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, they would get connected to something like that. But that's
Yeah.
just not what he grew up with.
And he
Yeah.
doesn't. And for him, that's not what real cinema's about. Which, again, it's still funny how some of the comments against him are always, of course, well, who are you to decide? He's not
Well-
saying he's to decide. He's just saying in his opinion. And frankly, to be honest, I kind of agree with him. I'm not. a
And you
huge
know what's
movie buff, I agree
fascinating?
with him.
like
What's
in a
fascinating?
weird kind of way, is like how many people probably older than Martin Scorsese like were probably watching his movies.
Yeah.
I mean, because he's a pretty like
Yeah.
he's not bad, as a filmmaker,
I
but
didn't
like he makes some pretty out there kind of violent movies.
Yeah.
And like that whole like 70s explosion, that happened with like Taxi Driver and The Godfather, Apocalypse Now, all these I guess they call them new Hollywood type filmmakers,
So,
but
yeah, something like that.
I don't know. Like it cuz like my dad is he grew up in the 60s and 70s, but he can remember like the huge like kind of cultural shift that started to happen when movies like that started coming out. And he argues that it wasn't for the better, but that's a whole nother thing entirely. But
What do you mean? What does he mean by that?
I think he's very he just thinks that it's become more like simplified, I guess, more about like I don't know, not craving, but like more about like violence and action and stuff like that.
Than it is about like kind of how. Well, I guess it's kind of the same argument that like original Star Trek fans have versus like kind of newer Star Trek fans. Kind of like about that like episodes are more about the. I don't want to say exact story because everyone has story, but like combat was never really a huge part of the original Star Trek, right?
No.
Or for the original ones.
Hey,
Kara, how you doing? Glad to have you back.
I was about to
Pretty
say, I
much.
see her in the Twitch chat.
Yeah.
It's going good.
Yeah, pretty much just like I don't know. But yeah, like I would argue that like if you like the new Star Trek, that's fine, I guess, but like
Yeah.
it definitely doesn't match the spirit of the original. And when I say
think you could
original,
almost kind
I
of
probably
objectively
mean,
say it
like-
doesn't really match what the original series was all about.
Oh yeah.
Again, my original point more so with it was when it involves kind of what you said. Your dad's feeling towards like kind of the more it being geared now more towards action and most movies and kind of more violence in a way. It's kind of just a sense of there's a lot of people out there who mostly watch movies because for that sheer just kind of story driven aspect, it doesn't really care that much about the combat or action scenes or anything like that. And so when you take that shift more towards an action-based movie, and now almost every movie has to be an action-based movie, it kind of leaves a lot of people who don't really prefer that kind of left, like, okay, what am I going to watch?
Well, let me ask you,
yeah.
Hayden, was your dad mainly referring to the movies in the 70s
I don't
when
really
he
think
said that?
it's hard to
'Cause-
really get that out of him, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because I mean,
But,
if
like-
he's talking about the 70s and how there's this big push for more violence and maybe grimmer themes. I mean, that was just kind of a reaction to filmmaking in the 70s. Because I think in the 50s and 60s you couldn't really do stuff like that.
Yeah, no, you
Well,
So I mean, you had all these filmmakers who were revolutionary in that sense. Who they
you
were
could
completely
do stuff like that,
revolting.
just not. I would say not to the extent that
Well, again, it's
because
also
there's
about-
movies that I've seen that are from like the 40s and 50s, and what you don't see, like they're more like thriller.
Of like that, they had to find creative ways for movies that they wanted to scare people at. They had to find a creative way to be scary other than just show a bunch of guts and gore, right?
Right.
They had to find different methods of accomplishing that, and I just think there's probably a lot of people out there who still believe that kind of older method. And again, I guess because I count myself in it to a certain degree too, that older method of how you get fear or even just emotion in general. Like say it's even something like love, right, or comedy, like kind of that older style of accomplishing that. Like, I know I personally prefer. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people out there who also prefer, but it is kind of now lost a bit more to the more modern style of accomplishing it. Like, for example, look at comedy. How many comedies do you see that are like as witty as like the Dick Van Dyke Show or Cheers or Frasier, right? Like a lot of them.
I think
I don't get me
I
wrong,
think you see examples of it still.
No, I think you do, but I think the comedy.
They're just not as
changes.
prevalent in like mainstream.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which
Well,
I think-
humor
Because
has
with
changed.
mainstream, you kind of people kind of cater to like the lowest common denominator form of entertainment.
Yeah, and I mean,
And,
there's also,
and sometimes the
Yeah.
raunchy humor can hit that nail on the head better than any other kind of comedy can.
and it's
Well,
also
like-
worth mentioning the fact of when we had that weird level of comedy, like the what was it, Dane Cook days and stuff like that. Like that was a whole phase in itself too. That I know some people, especially in our age bracket, still say like we need to get back to that style, and I'm over here going,
Or like Adam Sandler, in my opinion.
I agree personally. He has
I don't
wrong.
I don't really
Couple good
find Adam
movies.
Sandler that funny.
So there's a couple movies I think he's great in with comedy. For the most part, I do agree with you that it's kind of same character, kind of over and over, typically.
Which
But
I think he actually works pretty well as a dramatic actor. Is kind of the
He
strangest
does, is the
thing
thing.
so
about
how,
that.
did
He
anyone see
does.
that movie he was recently in?
Uncut Gems.
Uncut Gems?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, that's a great movie.
Okay, 'cause I haven't seen it yet. So, but look good.
It's on Netflix, so I mean, if you guys have a free night, I would give it a shot.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna have to check that out then, because it seemed solid.
You gotta like the thing you gotta understand that is much more of a frantic, like anxious movie more than anything. So you'll kind of get that feeling like it's just moving really fast, but that's just kind of the style of the movie itself.
Is that by the same people that did the movie about like the heroin addict living in New York or whatever?
Fuck, what was that movie called?
I always forget the name of that movie, but like which one I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, I know which one you're talking about. And I've seen the movie too. It's kind
It was
of okay.
It was the one where it was the one that had the trailer in the It Follows.
Oh
movie
yeah.
where like they're having
Where he
sex and it
shit.
just goes climax.
What?
Because the trailer was kind of weird. They had a dubstep soundtrack going through it constantly.
Oh yeah, and then like the guy, like it just cut to the guy like lighting himself on fire or whatever, and I was like, that does just not look like a movie that I would enjoy. But
Damn, Warlock.
I don't know.
But they did release another movie called Good Time with Robert Pattinson. That one's a movie
Yeah, I
that
heard
I
about that
always
one.
recommend people.
Yeah,
I'm so excited to see him as Batman.
yeah. Twilight really did Robert Pattinson and Kristen Stewart dirty, because like I still meet people that say like, well, they can't act. Like
Well,
they
I mean,
really
it's kinda
can't.
give-
in one
it's kinda
sense
like,
it did him
give-
dirty, but they wouldn't probably have ever been noticed had it not been for those movies to kind
That's
of really
exactly what I was
jumpstart
getting
their
ready to
career.
say.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's what kind of put their name out there for everyone.
Oh yeah.
Because
Well,
if
Kristen
it wasn't
Stewart
for that,
was in
Kristen
stuff.
Stewart would have just been known as the girl from what's that movie? Speed.
Adventureland. Wasn't
Oh,
she in
fuck,
that
she
too?
was in
That was before
Adventureland.
Twilight, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
But
I think
no,
and-
him-
I think maybe it was after Twilight.
No, Adventureland was it 2007, 2008 ish, somewhere around there. Twilight came out in
Oh, no,
2008.
don't fact check us on that right now.
But anyways, yeah. Which
so
I
when's that new Batman
think-
movie supposed to come out anyway, though?
2022, I think.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I think currently at the moment it's 2022.
Yeah.
Now that could
Futureland has such a wild emotional vibe the whole movie. So I haven't seen it, so
It's a pretty.
It's been years since I've seen it.
It's like a. Isn't it kind of coming of age? Would you say?
Sort
Kinda
of,
movie.
yeah. Yeah, with Jesse Eisenberg.
of course he's in a coming of age movie.
You can't. Yeah.
He's always coming of age. He'll be fucking 40 and still just be like, "Ugh."
Always looks like he's on the verge of a panic attack or something.
Probably is
Zombieland was
always on
better.
the verge of a panic attack. I haven't seen Zombieland actually. I remember when
So-
that movie was all anybody ever fucking
It-
talked about.
So
It does not hold up. I tried watching
Really?
it ago. It does not hold up whatsoever.
I'm gonna have to rewatch it then, because I remember thinking it was actually really solid. Like, I think I walked in with extremely low expectations though, because it was. I forget what I saw before that, but it was another movie that like my ex took me to. I was like, I do not want to watch this movie, and it turned out to suck. And she brought me to Zombieland, and I was like, this is probably gonna suck too. And the entire time, I'm like, actually, this isn't that bad. I mean, the jokes definitely got played out. Like I feel like some of the hatred for Zombieland now comes from some of the people who just would not be quiet about Bill Murray kind of deal. Like I like Bill Murray, but Middle East people were kind of crazy about him, even though he was barely in the movie. But like, I don't know why. I don't know how
That
the Bill Murray
movie
thing
honestly
became a
led
thing.
to like a whole like career renaissance for him, though.
I don't know
Well,
why.
that mixed with all of his Wes Anderson stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I love Bill Murray. It's just kind of weird that that's what did it.
Yeah, because really, he's kind of an asshole.
Wait, there was a
Yeah, he
Zombieland
really is.
video game? Oh my god.
Yeah, there was.
I
I
wanna
think it was
say-
based on the sequel, I want to say.
So Kara says it was the most trash game she's ever seen.
Yeah,
Oh.
I'd believe it. Most
Yeah,
movie
that's a-
games are kind of trash.
So what's some solid movie games? So we always mention King Kong. That's like our go-to typically.
I would
Um,
say
The
Scott
game that
Pilgrim
came out
versus the
while
World game was
Wolverine's
pretty-
Origins, I think, wasn't that
Oh,
one
X-Men
pretty-
Origins Wolverine. It was okay. For a movie game, it was phenomenal. But just as like a regular game,
it had nothing to
it
do
was
with the movie.
kind of just okay. Yeah, like most of it was like all this shit like before, like and in the middle of the movie and stuff, and like it was okay. But like,
Ooh, yeah, the Spider-Man.
Oh yeah,
games.
Spider-Man games. Yeah.
Ooh,
yeah.
especially Spider-Man 2.
I'm about to say was that the one for original Xbox, right?
yeah.
No, wait,
yeah.
wait. No, I might be thinking of Spider-Man 1 because I was playing the one where. Yeah, I think I was playing Spider-Man 1.
Yeah, I think Spider-Man 2 was just PlayStation 2, I think.
Spider-Man 2 was PS2, Xbox, GameCube, DS, and PC.
Oh,
I
gotcha.
forget
Okay.
which one I had, if it was the second or first.
You
So,
had the first one.
I thought so. I enjoyed the first one. The first one I loved as a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like the first one too.
But that was a solid game movie. And you know what's actually a surprisingly decent movie video game?
What?
I'm going to get some pushback here, but the episode 3 video game actually wasn't that bad. All right?
I was gonna say it honestly wasn't that
It
bad.
wasn't that bad. It was actually a lot of fun. You had that kind of like arcade fighting mode that was good.
It was more fun than the fucking movie.
I think I
I
kind of
don't-
liked the
I don't know how
the
to set
Lord of the
up
Rings games?
donations.
Oh, the
actually.
Lord of the Rings games were great.
So Hayden, help me out here.
Yo.
If I've never set up donations, can that even be done?
If you've, sorry, what did you say?
So Kara asked, do you accept donations? I'm not seeing an obvious button. I don't even know how to set all that up, I'll be honest.
I could set that up for you, or at least tell you how to set it up.
So maybe in the future, I really do appreciate the thought. Like really, like seriously, I really do appreciate the thought.
yeah, no, seriously.
But I've actually, I guess because I never, to be honest, I never expected really a single person to watch one of these streams, so I just never really put much effort into the Twitch side of things.
Yeah.
$20 for you when we do. I will be very much appreciative of that. I really would. It would go straight to buying diapers for our newborn, or when he's born.
Aw.
Really, that's what we do now. Like every single time we go to the grocery store, it is buy our groceries, more diapers. Okay, we go there to
Yeah.
pick up some, you know, maybe like some shaving cream. All right, we need more diapers.
And diapers are expensive as shit too.
But
Oh,
we
yeah.
are stocking up on diapers. We're gonna make sure we never have to worry about that. So
They won't need diapers.
Yeah.
But seriously, I really do
just
appreciate the thought, and you know, hopefully I'll have that set up soon. But yeah, like, and to be honest, you know, we got like 4 people watching right now, and earlier we had like 5 or 6. Like that's awesome. Like even having just a few people, it's great. It's awesome. I love it.
Yeah, no, I mean any person that actually comes in to watch a stream, even if it's for like 10 minutes, it's always appreciated.
Yeah, even if it's like someone
yeah.
commenting in a different language, "Hey, bald guy," and then leaving.
Hey, bald guy. Nice bald.
Which we get a lot of apparently.
Or what was the other one? Egg white?
Yeah, he goes.
Like, kinda.
Just commented, just look, egg white.
That's hilarious.
Let's make connect-
Yeah, and that's what we kind of hope,
Yeah.
which is why we're trying to do, You know, we're trying to do these every Friday. We're trying to make a consistent stream. Like, even though I'm headed out to NYC this week, and like I'm leaving tomorrow, and I'm gonna be there like for the entire week, kind of deal. Like I have a whole laptop set up. I'm bringing the whole mic set up still, and so I can actually still do this out of the hotel. So, you know, we're still trying to make this consistent, at least this portion especially. Like I have a couple games I kind of play. So I try to stream Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. That's like my goal right now, is to try to do those 3 days. So we'll see how consistent it was. Originally, Saturday was supposed to be like a VR Saturday, but now that my job is going to require me to do a crap ton of traveling, I'm not going to do VR that much, unfortunately, anymore. Think about setting VR in a hotel room. But I got a pretty sweet laptop on the way that I can still do editing for videos for my other stuff too, so that's gonna be exciting.
Word.
Mostly pocket knife collectors. I'm not sure if that's literal or not. If it is literal,
Quick, we gotta try to get pocket knives into the.
Look at this one, and this one, and this one. Actually, I have a ton of pocket knives. All because obviously like hunting, like I keep picking up knives for different purposes, kind of thing. It's just like non-stop. I'm gonna assume that's literal with promote or it is literal. Okay, good.
I think I have
Check
a pocket
out
knife
these
somewhere.
Knives on YouTube. I'll definitely check it out. I will definitely check it out. Probably after this match, I might actually type it in and go ahead and, you know, save the channel so I can check it out later. Definitely. Also, I'm gonna be in airports all day tomorrow, so I'm really gonna have to watch something. Tomorrow is gonna be nothing but being in the airport for probably, I don't know, 5 hours counting airplane. So, which I don't typically mind. Yeah, I don't typically mind, but now with all the crazy restrictions and airports are very pushy about it. Like, don't get me wrong, I totally get it. I'm just, it does make it more of a hassle, just truth be told, right? So, and like I normally wear glasses and my mask is gonna be fogging up like a son of a bitch, and that's just gonna be irritating. It's just gonna be, I'm not looking forward to flying with all that stuff going on. Then again, I'm also not really looking forward to New York going with everything going on, because like normally all the stuff I'll do in New York is now closed, so
Oh.
I'm gonna have nothing to do in New York either. I'll be stuck in my hotel room, and that's kind of it. Just work and hotel. I'm not even gonna be able to see a boxing match. Such a terrible New York trip.
What's the point then?
Like every time
I feel like
I've
anywhere would be a terrible trip right now.
I have never gone
Yeah.
to New York and not at least attended some sporting event, whether it be a Yankees game or like a boxing match. So, like, it's just kind of weird to me now with everything closed down. It's like all my favorite restaurants, like a lot of my favorite restaurants, like there was a bunch of them that I'm not being funny about this, that are in Chinatown that I really love going to, and they're now fully just closed down, and there's just nothing they can do about it. So it just, like, my go-to spots are all shut down right now. So I'm just gonna be stuck inside. Strange enough that it's kind of strange that actually I have as many like good spots in New York as I do, when I really don't really care for New York that much. No offense to anyone who's from New York.
I mean, I wouldn't care for New York that much either.
I just don't care for cities is my thing, to be perfectly honest. Like there's a few cities that I actually really enjoy going to. Like I love going to Vegas. Like that's still, but I mean, obviously it's kind of a different kind of city.
Right.
So
I want to go to Toronto someday, like all the Canadian cities.
I would like to go to Toronto.
Yeah, Toronto would be really cool to go to.
The like I'm not a big fan of Chicago for the most part, just because it's one of those places where if you step in the wrong spot just at the wrong time, you're kind of, you know, it's risky.
Well, that's true of any big city.
But more so Chicago and Detroit than most others. Like in New York, I mean, the thing is, like, New York's actually one of the safest cities there are. I mean, don't hate on Chicago. Well, yeah, I forgot you're actually right there by Chicago. So here's the thing about Chicago. I love this city. I love the city itself in the sense of I love the layout of the city. Like I really do absolutely love the layout of the city. How the river cuts between it all and all that. Like I love the way it looks. I absolutely love it. I love walking around certain aspects of it. But last time I was there, I was like in a freaking Nissan Armada and it was hard to get around. So there was that too. But that's again most cities. I'll put it this way: Chicago's better than Detroit. I'll give it that 100%. It's better than Detroit, and frankly, I still would rather be there than I would like to be in San Francisco. So, yeah, I mean, I'll give that for Chicago too.
Oh.
Like, frankly, I'll probably rate it still above most of the California cities I've been into. If you just take the Michigan Ave, you're fine. Yeah, exactly. Just don't go to West Side. Yeah. And a few times I've actually crossed in some bad areas because we had offices in bad areas that I had to go to, and that was scary. But, like, I don't be in some of the bad parts of Brooklyn and New York, and so I'm going to have to kind of watch for that.
Oof. Because I don't know if I've told you this, James. I think I've told Tyler this, that, like right now I'm doing a training thing from Google.
Oh yeah, you did
And,
tell me about that.
And Google has like a really big complex in the London Kitchener area of Ontario in Canada.
Oh, cool.
And so I'm trying to see if I can get a job there once the training and stuff is done.
That'd be awesome. Oh, my mic is kind of low tonight. Hard time. You know, let me... All right.
And
How
then,
about
I don't know.
now, I guess. I'm not sure why it's... So I got this mic stand right here, so I'm trying to figure that out a little bit still.
Mhm.
Like, what's the right gain? Let's see. So you're trying to get a job in Toronto, though?
Not Toronto,
Or
London,
Ontario?
which is outside of Toronto.
Oh, okay. So outside Toronto. Got it. It's a little better.
Which I mean, like,
Let
I
me-
think it's something like, isn't it like 60% of Canada's population is all in Toronto? Something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Because
it-
Canada only has 37 million people in it, which I say only, but you know what I mean. Compared to America, that really isn't a whole lot.
Okay, I think that's going to be better for my mic, at least a little bit.
Like
yeah,
the
it's
state of
actually not that big.
California has just as much people as Canada does.
Well, so it's funny. Like, I know people who've, like, come from overseas to come, like, visit America, right? And
Mhm.
it's great because they'll ask questions like, hey, I'm going to be, like, in Texas. Like, you want to come visit? And it's like, dude, you do not know how far away freaking Texas is from North Carolina. It's...
Yeah.
Like, you can't just
Well, even-
drive
Yeah.
there.
Even people that go to Canada, they're like, well, I'll be in Montreal. And it's like, yeah, that's great. That's halfway across the country from Toronto. Like, there's Canadians that, like, they've straight up never left, like, Toronto or Montreal or any of, like, the big cities.
Yeah, well, I don't know, that's kind of a lot of people do. Like, I've ran into, like, a ton of people who are like, yeah, I've never left my state. And I'm like, I don't... I like to travel, so it could just be something that just I enjoy. But I'm like, man, I want to travel everywhere.
I don't really like traveling that much, but I've been, like, to other places.
Well, you've been like,
I mean,
freaking
honestly, some
England.
people just don't really want to go anywhere new. They just kind of want what's familiar.
And I
Yeah.
get that. I take that back. I just don't get that.
I was about to say, you're the first person that should
Yeah.
be getting that.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
something that I just have never quite understood because I'm, like, you know me, like I sit there like I've done shit like the Grand Canyon hike and gone out to like I lived in Alaska for like 3 months for God's sake, right? Like, and that was like the greatest trip I've ever had.
Yeah.
You know, I've like gone. I mean, how many? I've lost count of the countries I've been in when it comes to Central America through all the islands like I've gone scuba diving at and have visited. So, I'm over here like, all right, how can I get to a point where I can start like going over to like Europe and shit like that too? So,
Yeah.
I don't know, I'm just very much a travel kind of person. Mostly for national parks and hiking, though. I'll be honest. I mostly just like going different places and hiking and seeing nature.
So, but yeah, the goal is that I think if you have like a permanent residence there for like I guess a grand total of 5 years, you can apply for citizenship. So that's something that I would be interested in doing. I wouldn't relinquish my American citizenship if I ever got Canadian stuff, obviously.
Keep it with dual, because I mean, for one, just like why would you ever like relinquish it is the kind of thing. When
I know that
options on the
like
table.
it's something that I would never do just because I'm just not that type of person. But like I know like Terry Gilliam, like the Monty Python guy, he was actually born in Minnesota and raised in California.
Really?
But he moved to England in like the mid '60s, and he actually gave up his American citizenship when like the war in Iraq was declared. But I mean, by that point, he hadn't been living there for like, I mean, literally since like 1968 or something
So
like
it was
that.
almost kind of pointless to even have it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Typically, when people relinquish their American citizenships, it's normally just for. It's never really for practical. It's more just for political reasons. Which I mean, understandable. Like, you know, if you want to make a statement, I mean, go right ahead, sure. But I'm just saying, there's never really that much of a practical reason to ever really give up your citizenship.
No.
Because very few countries actually require it to be done. So, yeah,
No.
I was like, so why not? If you can have dual citizenship, take dual citizenship.
Well, the thing with Canada too is that they only allow dual citizenship with a certain number of countries, if I'm not mistaken. But America is one of them, obviously. But yeah, I guess the main thing would just be like, if I get up there and like, you know, I do the 5 years and all that stuff, like I'm still gonna want to visit my family and you guys and stuff. So like, it'll be nice to do that without having to go through like border, you know, crap.
You know, it's kind of funny. Like, that's like the one thing that holds like me and Cap from just like moving out to Alaska is the fact that we want to still be able to see family quite a bit.
Yeah.
And so, you know, we're still like the furthest I think we would move would be to like Tennessee or something like that. Like something that's still relatively close.
You're still close enough to everything.
Yeah. Like it's only like a 5-hour drive or so for me to see my family, and it's only about a 6-hour drive for her to see her family. So it's actually not too bad. And because like, Tower, you definitely know that like I can drive for just like a whole fucking day and be fine. Like,
hey guys, I'll be right back.
Oh yeah, no problem.
Yeah, step away real quick.
Ooh,
jeez.
But yeah, like I can drive and drive and drive. So like 5 hours is nothing for me.
I hate driving or riding in a car.
Ooh, Cypress Creek. Yeah,
and that's kind of weird coming from somebody that lives in a pretty rural area where a car is necessary, but still.
You know, it's kind of funny, like...
I would not want to be using public transport right now, I can tell you that.
Yeah, well, it's kind of funny.
Oh shit, we won.
Oh my god, we came back from that? Holy crap. That's surprising.
That was my 150th multiplayer game won. That was a good one, too. Because I just got an achievement.
So, while we're waiting for next match, I'm going to go ahead and type in Neve's Knives to check that out.
Yeah.
Awesome, found it. Subscribe. And I'm actually might really check a lot of this stuff out because I do like different type of knives. For God's sake, with how many weapons I have, I mean, that should, you know.
Remember the Cold Steel guy?
Oh yeah, the Cold Steel dude. I still have some of their shit actually.
My stuff has precision guts. We'll get the precision guts from that knife.
I love the Cold Steel guy actually, and actually they make decent products. So their knives are actually really good quality knives, and they're like swords and like more gimmicky stuff. Like, is it silly? Yeah. Is it actually not badly made? also true. It's actually not too terribly made. It really isn't.
Hey, guys.
Like, yeah.
Hey, I actually do gotta step out for the rest of the night.
Oh,
Oh,
dang.
okay.
Okay, well, I guess it'll be me and you, Hayden.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No problem.
All right, well, I will catch everyone on Monday.
All right, awesome. We'll figure out what we're going to play on Monday. It might
Alrighty.
be Fall Guys, actually, if that's cool with y'all.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's fine.
that sounds fine with me.
All right, awesome. All right, we'll see you later, man.
All right, take it easy, guys.
See ya. So, for all of you watching, this it will be a more personal podcast now.
Yes, yeah. What do you mean more personal?
I mean, just two people. It's not like a group
Oh.
of people now.
I was
It-
gonna
it's
say,
gone-
like, if Tyler's not personal, then
It's
I don't know who
it's-
is.
I'm not saying, yeah, it could sound kind
who's
of
your
bad.
best man, for God's sake.
Yeah. No, I mean, more instance of we've gone from a group to just a couple, which sounds kind of. Well,
Weird.
I can't. Yeah.
Yeah, let's just. There's one less person. Yeah, that's what we'll say.
We're no longer a tricycle. No, that
yeah,
sounds kind of
taking
weird,
off the training wheel.
Then again, Troy might eventually hop on too, and he might be able to join. We'll see.
Yeah.
He got held up, so if
Yeah.
he does, he does. If he doesn't, he doesn't. We'll still keep playing.
Well, imagine
till
where
10
he's
o'clock
at. His
regardless.
commute's got to be fucking rough.
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
He's like right outside of New York City.
Is he?
Yeah, yeah. Where he's at, is like literally right outside of New York City.
Man, I might
I don't
ask
think he
him
works in New York, but
if he's like. If it turns out he is like right there on New York City, I might really ask him. Hey, if you want to come into the city and grab a bite to eat or something.
yeah.
I'm not sure if he's actually that close or not, but I'll ask.
I mean, he probably isn't more than like. Well, I'm not gonna reveal his thing on stream, but I'm just gonna look it up on Google Maps real quick because I know where he lives.
Come on, someone hop in. Okay, no.
Directions to.
Up.
Yeah, he's about an hour's drive from New York City.
That's a bit long, so he's probably gonna say no.
An hour's drive. Come on.
Well, you
That
also
ain't
gotta
shit.
count what's New York City traffic like, and I'm gonna be staying not too far away from Central Park, so it's like I'm kind of close to everything, or kind of
Yeah.
tied up in the main part of the city.
Yeah.
So
Who
there
knows?
is that. I'll still ask. Never know. Like I'm
Yeah.
the kind of person who someone could show up and be an hour and a half away, and I'm still like, yeah, all right, I'll make that drive. Let's do it.
Yeah. I mean, I make that drive just because that's the fucking drive that I make to go grocery shop. So it's
Well, I
like
betrayed someone.
an hour drive is not,
Not too bad for you.
yeah, really like not that bad.
Well, I mean,
That's what was so funny about like Nicole and Charlotte. They're like, man, this thing is like 5 miles away. I'm like, damn, like that's pretty good, They're like,
Yeah,
who
and-
wants to do that?
Yeah, it was kind of funny like, when I was working at my other place. Like, they were like, hey, yeah, come to, we're going to have a meeting in this place, so just feel free to get a hotel. I'm like, dude, it's like a 3-hour drive. Why do I need a hotel? And they're like, well, we're going to get done probably around like, 6 or 7. And I'm like, so I get home at 10. Why do I need a hotel? I'd rather sleep in my own bed. They're like, why would I not
Yeah.
sleep in my own bed?
And pay money. Or not pay money.
Exactly. Well, they would pay money. Like, they would cover it. But it was just
Oh.
like, why? I'd rather drive back home tonight than having to get up early tomorrow and worry about it.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't know. I'd rather just drive. I'm totally the guy who would drive through the night to get to like the next city over to be a little closer for the next morning's drive.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be one of those dads.
nice.
So we're taking like these birthing classes now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because so Kat wants to do it naturally, so without,
God.
yeah, without epidural, without any pain medication, none of that. So someone who we knew, she actually teaches classes or teaches, does pregnancy classes for people who actually want to do it naturally. So we had someone we already knew that we could reach out to. So we'll actually be. So we're actually trying to set all that through.
Like, I don't know.
All right, awesome. Hey, thanks for just joining for a little bit,
couldn't
Kara.
do
Really
it.
appreciate it. We'll look forward to, seeing you again in the future, definitely. And also, yeah, I need to play Far Cry 5. That would be, I've still yet to play it, so. But yeah, also, I went ahead and checked out the YouTube channel, so I'll definitely be looking at it probably tomorrow when I'm between flights. But yeah, so we're doing, we found somebody who's going to actually help her do the natural birth style thing. So learning a bunch of stuff on how to better do that.
I hope that she's able to do a natural birth, because it doesn't always work out that way. I mean, even
Yeah.
when you're healthy.
Oh yeah, the thing is though,
So,
I mean, it's only been like 20, 30 years since we've had the epidural, and up till then, everyone had natural births. So, like, it's just, do you want to go through that pain for the epidural? Not like, most people can. It's just, why would you want to?
I mean, I wouldn't want to. But, not having a vagina, I guess I
Yeah, thanks
don't
a lot,
really
Kara.
weigh much
Yeah,
on that
but
issue.
Not too much longer till the kid's born. So, the podcast will be routinely updated on the the process of that.
The process, yeah.
Yeah, we'll see if it does go naturally. I mean, I think she can. I do think she can. She's toughened up for a lot of things before, and also like if you're doing like a natural birth, like you don't want to like lay on your back. You usually go on a different position anyway. So the fact that it's starting from like she's already starting with the knowledge that's actually going to help her to actually do that. Like,
Yeah.
that's already a step in the right direction. So,
Oh, yeah.
like if you're doing natural birth, you like, for the most part you want to do something like squatting.
Are you guys still gonna do it in a hospital, or?
Oh yeah, still do it in a hospital because
okay.
I mean, there's also the thing of obviously if something goes wrong, I mean you still want to be next to a doctor to take care of it.
Yeah.
But we're just going to turn down epidural and pain medication and try to do it as natural as possible. And 'cause, I mean that's my whole thing. Like don't get me wrong, like for everyone watching, I'm totally pro-vaccination, all that stuff. So when I'm saying natural, that's not what I mean. Like, don't worry, we're not like some anti-vaxxer natural. We just mean in the sense of if you can do it without the using what is equivalent basically to like fucking morphine and shit, then what nature basically has designed us to do, then that's kind of just how we choose like we want to do it. And by we I mean her, because I just kind of went along with however she said she wanted to have the kid. She said she wanted to do it natural, so we're doing it natural. And like her mom had her and her brother naturally too, so
Oh God.
yeah. And like her mom, it was like no big deal for. So
I'm pretty sure. Well, my mom didn't have me natural because I was fucking 3 months early. But when it comes to my sister, I honestly have no idea.
yeah, my mom thought that my dad for some reason wanted her to have it natural, and so like during the pregnancy he's like trying to tough it up and all this stuff, and my dad just goes, why don't you just take the epidural? And she goes, I thought you wanted it to be natural. He's like, no, when did I ever say this? And so she was able to get the epidural, and then for the second time when she had Megan, it was like, yeah, get the epidural. So my mom's already like, why are you trying to do a natural birth? But again, hey, if that's what she wants, I'm supportive of it. I know she can do it, so I know she has it in her to do it. It's just if that's how she wants to do it, go for it.
Which I don't think my mom had a hysterectomy, but she had like her fallopian tubes tied,
Ah,
something like that, after I was born. So, well, because between my sister and I, she'd already had like 4 miscarriages, and
okay.
so,
Didn't know
yeah,
that.
yeah,
The for Kat, because so and, you know, her brother's mentally handicapped.
Yeah.
So we basically got every freaking test done possible just to, you know, check to make sure, because they still don't know what he has or, you know, anything about it, and because of that, they don't know, is it genetic, could it have just been a fuck up that just happened in the womb, that's kind of like a 1 in a million chance kind of thing. No one really knows.
Yeah.
So we've got like so many different tests done, which the good part about getting all those tests done though is it showed that all of her levels of health all point to the direction of she should be able to have a natural birth without, you know, knock on wood, you know, really any major complications. So that's actually you know, that's actually one positive with it all, is that through all those tests we basically found that she's in a good situation to do a natural birth. So
yeah.
and I think I might finally have convinced her not to circumcise, so we'll see.
You know, why do Americans circumcise?
Well,
Like,
dude,
what,
there's
like,
no medical reason. There's no medical reason. Like
there really isn't.
So I obviously I am circumcised, right? Like that's
Yeah.
and they're wrong. Does it look better? Yes. All right. Yes. A circumcised penis definitely looks a lot better than an uncircumcised penis. I'm sorry. It does look better, but it's not natural. It makes no sense. It's not right. And guess what else? It also harms our sexual like enjoyment. Like people who have had sex and then later gotten circumcised have described the difference as basically from seeing in color to seeing in black and white.
Good
Like,
Lord.
that is the difference that people talk about who have gotten circumcised later in life. And
Who would get circumcised later in life?
well, and for one thing about it, there's a lot of pressure, right? From like, in a sense of like, there's a lot of girls out there who think uncircumcised penis is disgusting. So, you know, guys will do a lot of stupid shit for women. I mean, just it's what we do.
I mean, that's fair.
So
Fair.
they probably thought, for a lot of them, at least, you know, I read their stories of, they were, you know, a lot of them basically kind of just thought that it would actually give them better luck with women, because that is kind of a holding point for some women who just won't.
Is the penis the first thing that people see these days, or like how does that work?
The age of Tinder,
exactly?
Hayden, yes, it kind of is.
Like, I don't know. I just, yeah, that just sucks.
Yeah, it's.
I mean, like, that just really sucks.
Yeah, like. So
Because I know, like, what were you gonna say?
No, as I just saying, the thing is though, like she's kind of like, I don't really have a reason why I don't want them to be or why I want to be circumcised. Just I want to be circumcised. But talking with the pregnancy coach, she's also a big, obviously as a natural birth professional, basically. She's also obviously very big on the whole don't circumcise your kid kind of deal. So I think we've convinced her not to circumcise.
Is it a sanitary reason that they do it?
So
Like,
so here's the thing. The diagnosis
besides like
as
the
to-
whole Judaism thing.
So that's it. So the science has changed. Like every decade, the science changes on why we do it. Like for a while there, like there was a time when it was actually about AIDS, where they said that you have a less likely chance of, you know, getting AIDS if you're circumcised. That was a big push. Before then, though, it was anti-masturbation kind of stuff, which that should tell you something right there. But then it turned to like now, like today, it's now about urinary tract infections, because some studies show there's a higher chance of a urinary tract infection for uncircumcised people. However, that is not like it's not a huge enough difference, I think, to really matter. You know what I mean? For the most part, as long as you clean yourself right, it's not that big of a deal either way.
Yeah, you just have to clean your foreskin, basically.
So it seems like the science just kind of always keeps changing as to why we are circumcising kids. Like every decade, there seems to be a new reason. Isn't this a great podcast topic, circumcision? Good thing we only have like a couple people watching. But yeah, it keeps changing, so there's not really a firm reason, to be honest.
I actually had to be circumcised, like medically.
Really?
Yeah. I was born with a condition called hypospadias, which means that you have multiple openings, like all throughout your penis,
Ugh.
like where like urine and stuff will come out. And so, I guess when I was about 2 or 3, I had to be like I went to like a special surgeon, and he took the foreskin and like grafted it all the way around.
Oh.
So
4 or 3. Jeez, that's.
I remember
Ugh.
I don't remember the surgery obviously because I was asleep, but like I remember like coming home and being like, oh my god, my penis is like hurting like crazy.
So, like, here's one thing. My sister's husband, he performed circumcision for. He's a doctor, so he's actually performed circumcision. So he's kind of like, dude, it's no big deal. They don't feel anything. Da 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 da. But at the same time, you know, I feel like that's not really the point as to why I'm saying don't get it. It's not so much that he doesn't feel, which I still don't entirely know if that's true. Like I maybe just because they can't really express
They
it
won't
doesn't mean.
remember the pain, put it that way.
But at the same time, you don't remember like what happens in your first 6 months of life. Yet science has also shown the first 6 months of a child's life is some of the most important for their cognitive development. Like what they see around them in the first 6 months will almost have like basically about 50% of how you act, even to this day, for the average person, is tied to your first 6 months of living for the most part in most studies. So if that's the case and you don't remember that, then Lord knows what circumcision does. I'm just saying. But even beside the point, it just doesn't make sense because there's no reason to do it in the first place. There's no reason. So I'm on. It's kind of funny. We were talking about this with the with the birthing coach, and she's like, "This might be one of the few occasions where I've seen the guy be the one who's heavy for not circumcising," and it's the wife who's saying get circumcised. But I think finally on track to convince her to not circumcise the kids. So I'm actually kind of happy about that one. But you know me, like I feel bad about neutering a fucking dog. So, God, 22 assists. I really was driving the Warthog just that whole freaking game.
Good lord. Let me see. Yeah, I got the last kill, I think, again.
Cool. So for everyone that is watching, just to let you know, normally we have, about 4 of us in these things, but, things come up. I had a couple people have to, hit out, which, is cool. Everyone has stuff to do. I'm not sure how I'm going to be either for next Friday entirely. I hope I can be here next Friday. I think I can, so still count on it. But, normally there's about 4 of us, but, today we're just kind of rocking it, just me and Hayden, just hanging out, just talking, obviously, right now about circumcision. But besides the point...
You and I is when it tends to derail, I feel like.
Well, so you and I both have that kind of also thing where if something is curious to us, we'll just start talking about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel like we both kind of think out loud with some of our thoughts a lot, which means our conversations can just kind of, move kind of weirdly.
Yeah.
Like, I know just because of, like, when doing stuff like corporate meetings and shit like that I'm very much a think out loud kind of person. So like we'll be going, so maybe we should do this, this, and this, but no, that will cause this, this, and this, so maybe we should do this instead. And so someone goes, so wait, which one are we doing? The second one, the one I ended with. I'll just pacing it through my head for the rest. Those are 3 ideas I said out loud and realized were bad. Which, talking out loud to just kind of say ideas can definitely sometimes get you in trouble.
Yeah.
Just look at Elon Musk and some of the stuff he occasionally says. Because that dude is definitely a think out loud kind of guy.
He thinks. That's something you can say about Elon Musk.
It's weird. Elon Musk occasionally comes across as an alien trying to pretend to be human. Like.
Yeah. He
Like, I
yeah.
love him. I personally, I absolutely love him. But I'm just saying, it's just sometimes kind of funny with the way he just words things out. And like his jokes are so dry. And me, I love dry humor. So like he'll make a joke like about the Boring Company or something like that, and I'll just be like, like the entire crowd of the video you're watching are just kind of like, But like someone asked him, like, couldn't this, and it was like a more serious setting, like, couldn't this technology like really lead to some serious trouble for like AI and like couldn't like other company or other countries use it to take over the world? And he makes a joke going, I mean, for all you know, I'm a dictator trying to take over the world with all this technology. It's obvious, like, it's kind of just a dry joke. He's kind of, you know, yeah, we established that, but, you know, it's kind of things of, you know, yeah, it's going to be developed. I'd rather it be developed by us than anywhere else. But, like, he says that joke, and, like, the look on people's face when he says, for all you know, I'm the villain trying to obtain world domination. And he goes, like, but, you know, I'm just kidding. Of course, I'm just trying to be Emperor of Mars. That's kind of my thing currently, I think. And again, they just, stoic face, just like, I don't know what to think.
Which I have to admit, like, even if spaceflight came up, I don't think I would do it. There's just too much shit that can go wrong.
I'm more than willing to die in space. I am more than willing to die in space. Totally more than willing to do it. I want to know what's out there. I want to know what that's like. I want to know just so much about that. Like, you remember, like, in elementary school, like, when I would, like, sit there and be obsessed with, like, NASA sites and shit like that?
Oh, yeah.
Like, I would literally print out full, like, NASA, like, papers on their website and just read through them and shit. And a lot of them are stuff that's been proven wrong at this point, right? Like, you know, how most science kind of goes. But it was still, like, I was obsessed with that. And to a point, like, at my heart, I still kind of am. So, if you could say, hey, James, we'll take you to the moon, but there is a 70% chance you will not make it back and you will die, I would probably still take that chance. I really think I probably would. I would kiss my child goodbye and go, I'm going to go do something amazing, and, you know, hopefully one day you'll follow my footsteps kind of deal. Like,
all right, Matthew McConaughey. Jesus Christ.
I will more than willing... I'm more than willing to be a guinea pig to go into space, just because I truly think that's just the future of mankind as a whole, and to be a part of that history and the making. Yeah, well, you betcha. I'll gladly die for that, just in a heartbeat. I mean, no issue.
Unless my only thing is I doubt it'll be in our lifetime, at least beyond like visits to like the moon or something.
Well, that's all I want. I'm not expecting us to have like a Mass Effect society by that point. Or
no,
like that.
No.
But
I doubt even by 2183.
That's what kills
like when Mass Effect is set, that it'll be anything like that.
That's what kills. Like, there's always people like on Facebook and Twitter and all that stuff go like, yeah, you know, I was born too late to like discover the world and too early to discover the stars. I'm like, bitch, we haven't even like gone to the moon really that much, okay? You could be the first person to live on the fucking moon if you tried. Come on now, we're in an amazing freaking time. Like,
yeah.
Just because you're not gonna be able to see the Star Wars like future doesn't mean you don't live in a freaking amazing time period right now. We really might live in the time period where it'll be the first time man goes to another planet. Like, that's just unreal. That's just unreal to even think about, that we might be that society that will be the first time a man steps foot on another world. I mean, even if it is in our own solar system, even if it is just Mars, that will be something that will forever be spoken of as long as mankind exists. And we might get to live through that period of history. No, fuck you. We live in actually a pretty good time, actually, even with all the shit going wrong. Like, there's just... Historically, this time period is going to be amazingly significant, and, like, you should appreciate that, whether for the good or bad. Like, even if you think everything's going to end today, guess what? You get to be part of a society that will always be talked about in history regardless. Like, show some damn appreciation for that fact alone. Like, maybe it's because I'm just a history lover, but I just keep thinking about the fact of, like, this point in history really might be one of those times that just will never be forgotten. And that is so cool to me, just to even be possible. Like, it's just... people don't give enough credit to the time they live in. I don't think people are too busy fantasizing about the future and the past to really live in the moment, as hippie-ish as that sounds.
Yeah.
And obviously that's my impassioned rant for the day.
But I mean, you know, I'd take some historic peacetime every once in a while too.
Oh, totally. And well,
To be honest.
No, I totally would too. Like, I obviously would rather have like peace than any sort of problems. But that's what I'm saying. Let's say peace did come. We could still get peace, and peace comes, and we could still be the first society still to step foot on another planet. There's still so many advancements that are to be made. Look at the fact of what you have in your goddamn pocket right now. You have a fucking phone that has all the information on the fucking world at your fingertips, man. This is crazy. We're living in insane times.
I do love that time when I can't remember who it was in the room, but like it was a bunch of people saying like, well, I wonder what this is and what that is. Like we were like discussing something, and your dad just came by, and it's like, you all have phones. Like, look it up.
No, so there is something that's still fun that I think we miss now with phones, in the sense of us kind of like trying to bullshit our way to the answer sometimes. Like, I do think there's actually some credit to that, in the sense of I think that creates some amount of critical thinking that we're now lacking. I think we're looking at too many things now, sometimes analytically, when we should be thinking more creatively. I don't think people are really that creative anymore, because everything is at our fingertips now, where we don't really have to be. Like, and when I mean creative, I mean as in creative, like, in our thinking, not so much in our actions. Because, you know, people are creative as fuck, right? There's some insane shit people create. But more so in our thinking about actual topics and issues. We don't really think outside the box very often. We're very much a in-the-box focused society now.
I like thinking inside the box. It's safe there. Or whatever that red versus blue quote is.
He's like, the box is there for a reason. It's safe inside the box. That's, man, Red vs. Blue has some great quotes. It really does. The
First
show's
5
basically done
seasons,
now,
especially.
But yeah, and I'll be
Like-
honest.
like,
there's
The
some good
original
quotes
run
even
to
going
me is
forward.
still the funniest.
Oh, of course. Well, because it relied on witty humor because of their limiting factors. Like, they were never able to show that much, and because of that, it had to be kind of implied and kind of gone through that. But yeah, I just, you know, people.
Like the critics said, Clerks meets Star Wars.
Yeah. Yeah, Red vs. Blue back in the day was really good.
Oh,
And
yeah.
now with all the problems at Rooster Teeth, oh, jeez.
Yeah. That's a whole
boy,
can of worms.
that's something you can't really talk about. But anyone out there who is listening, just look it up yourself. I'm not going to mention it. Just look it up yourself, because we can't talk about it on this. Not because.
Well, we could. It probably just wouldn't be a very good idea.
Well, it's one of those things of some of the stuff that would be in that conversation would be on the bannable offense, I think. To
Oh,
discuss.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like,
Absolutely.
obviously, I'll just say Ryan Haywood. No, I'm not.
Adam Kovic.
Actually, no. So it turned out that story was a little different than what a lot of people originally thought. It turned out
Still
he
pretty
wasn't.
weird.
No, it was, and he didn't do a lot of stuff that's good, but the stuff that was accused of about Ryan Haywood turned out not to be kind of true about Adam, apparently. And I'll just say it this way: he does. Adam, there's no evidence that Adam likes his women young. I'll put it that way. That's a safe way of putting it. That turned out to be a bit overblown by what was happening, apparently, and.
Yeah.
At least that's the last I heard about it. The worst part, though, is for me, Ryan Haywood was the funniest member of the entire team they had, and so once he's now gone, it's kind of like, man, it's just no. Like, obviously, I'm not saying that like they shouldn't have fired him. All I'm saying is like, it's not as funny anymore. Like, they made the right decision getting rid of him.
Fair.
But, like, you know, it's just not as funny. So, yeah, they and the worst part, though, he was actually the main villain for the new season of Red vs. Blue, so they had to like completely like they because the whole thing was, it was kind of like he was always called like the Mad King or whatever, was kind of the joke, which turned out to be a little true. he that was kind of the gimmick for the character, and so now it doesn't have Ryan's voice as a new person. It just it doesn't work as well. It doesn't, and it just...
I like hold my yams. RTM.
Ease Spooby Killer, Spoopy.
Spooby.
Cinnamon Man.
That reminds me of the guy I
Gingerbread
used to
Man?
know named Captain Cinnamon Buns.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember that guy?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Whatever. I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. I would just love to like know. I wouldn't even really want to talk to them again necessarily, but just like know what they're up to. Like a lot of the old Xbox Live people.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like
I kind of know with like Troy and his gang for the most part, but
yeah.
like Darth or that's what Troy and I were talking about. It's like, what if he's like a defense attorney or some shit like that now? Like just something that just like would absolutely not fit at all who he was like as a child.
You know, that's also kind of why I'm actually very scared for the future generations in the sense of everything that's now been saved online for everything that's everyone's ever said kind of deal. Because it's people do grow up and change.
We were kind of the last generation that was able to like get away with stuff.
Yeah, and like like again, people change, and
oh yeah, but no, like if somebody like Darth had been around in like Twitter and TikTok and all this shit, my god.
Listen, I think he was on the level of intelligence. He would just gone with whatever he was told to go with for the most part on most of those platforms. I'll be perfectly honest. So I'm not sure how he would have been. He would have been the one screaming about random bullshit more than anything else. It really could go either way with him because I think he kind of just went with the crowd.
It's kind of hard to tell when you're only 12 too, though. I mean, to be fair.
Yeah. Everyone when they're 12 goes with the crowd.
I mean, I didn't, but.
Oh yeah. You were also
I'm the exception, not the rule.
You were also a very mature 12-year-old.
I wouldn't say mature. I just didn't really care what everybody else was doing.
But that's also kind of a mature outlook on life.
I guess.
Yeah, not caring what everyone's doing is actually a level of maturity. Like, people who are obsessed with that stuff, I would call immature.
Yeah.
And also, the people who go with the crowd yet still yell that, I'm unique. And it's like, there's nothing unique about what you're doing right now. Come on now. Like, find something unique. Don't care about the crowd. Don't care about...
Well, it's kind of the whole tattoos and piercings thing, in my opinion. Where it's like, if you really sat down and said, if nobody else was doing this...
Would you do it?
Would you do it?
Like, if you were raised in Japan, would you get a tattoo? Because they have a very anti-tattoo culture for the most part.
Oh, yeah. Well, because all the organized crime families have tattoos.
Like, if you lived there, do you think you still would get the tattoo? Like, your tattoo... Like, tattoos are no longer a statement of rebellion. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying as a don't act like you're making a statement of rebellion is all, because you're not. Like,
no.
I got no issue with tattoos. I think most of them are stupid personally, but like obviously, hey, everyone, you do you kind of deal. That's kind of the way I am. But for the most part, it's almost more interesting to find someone who doesn't have a tattoo these days than it is finding someone who has a tattoo. Like,
yeah, I mean, none of us have tattoos. Like, as far as like the core group there.
Yeah, but we're also kind of a strange group.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know.
But I'm saying is like I've been asked multiple times, like, wait, you don't have a tattoo? And it could just been the groups I was in to a certain regard too, right? I mean, there's that aspect. But I've been asked multiple times, wait, so you're telling me you don't got any tattoo? I'm like, no, I don't have any tattoo. And they're like, dude, you were in a boxing gym. I'm like, I know, and I didn't do anything that I was like. Again, I've said I'm not against tattoos. Like, there's things that if I actually accomplished, then I would probably get a tattoo of, right? Like, if I was in the military, I would get a some type of American tattoo, right? It's what I would have done. That's something that would stay with you for life, as it's always said, like look at the Marines, there's no such thing as a former Marine, is the saying, right? Once a Marine, always a Marine. So like stuff like that, totally get. Or if I did a Iron Man. I might would get an Iron Man tattoo on my calf. I think I probably would, because that's such a insane feat. I might would do it. Or if I climbed Everest, I might would, get some type of tattoo resembling Everest. Like, there's stuff I would get a tattoo for, but it wouldn't just be, oh, I did a Spartan race, so I'm getting a Spartan tattoo. Nah, because fucking, hundreds of thousands of fucking people have done Spartan races at this point. Like, I don't feel special having a Spartan race tattoo, because I just, it doesn't, it's not.
Or even, like, getting a tattoo of, like, your grandmother's name or something.
I don't get, I don't get that, personally.
I mean, like,
I get more than the other ones,
but at the
but
same time, it's kind of, I don't know. I should probably
morbid.
just shut up before I come across as an asshole.
No, I don't think you're coming across as an asshole at all.
No, but I mean, to a lot of people, I would be, is the thing. Like, that I know.
Like, because my
So,
whole feeling
I try
on
not to
it-
get, like, as opinionated about that kind of stuff anymore.
Well, I'm not even so much, and I would say even what you're saying so far isn't really so much opinionated as much as it is just preference and opinion, because, well, I guess it's opinionated, sure. But, like, obviously, I got family members who have a bunch of tattoos, right?
Yeah.
I got some family members who have a bunch of tattoos. I got nothing against tattoos, again, got nothing all against it, but I just don't see the point, is all. I just don't see the point. Sure,
It's
I
basically to show other people that have tattoos that you have tattoos.
guess, yeah, and in some cases it can even be like,
In today's day and age.
and like, and I'll use this as a method, and I feel like I can kind of get away with criticizing this because I am one, but like Christians who get Christian Bible verses as a tattoo, right? Like, I'm sorry, I get you like the verse of the Bible, so fucking read it more and read more of the Bible, alright? That's kind of my thing. Like, I feel like when you get, like, a tattoo of a Bible verse, I feel like you're kind of just trying to go, look at me, I'm such a good Christian. And I'm like, that kind of goes against a lot of the teachings of being a Christian, to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't like, jeez, that guy did an awesome throw.
Well, to me, I guess
don't
what
like
I was
a lot of
going to
those
say
kind of
is
tattoos.
it's kind of a surface level thing.
Yeah, and I feel like it's kind of like, I feel like it's another type of version of virtue signaling in a way. Where
Yeah.
if you
To a certain extent.
really sat down, how much did you, again, if you were never to see anyone ever again, would you have still got that tattoo and been happy with it? If you can say yes to that and truly mean yes, then okay, great, you got a good tattoo. Fantastic, good for you.
Yeah.
And I know some people, you have like crazy sleeves, they have no purpose, right? They just, random shit. But for them, they enjoy the act of tattooing. They enjoy the artwork of tattooing. And I get that they like the artwork of like the tattoo artwork and shit. So
Good lord.
for them, that's their reasoning. And I still think that's actually a fine reasoning. I just
Yeah.
think that this whole idea of like, I still see people post like, if you judge people for having a tattoo, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, dude, I really don't know. I'm not saying they're not out there, because they are. I'm just saying, dude, that's not the common anymore. Like, that's not commonplace. For the most part, people expect you to have tattoos these days. Like, no one's really walking
Yeah.
around. The amount of people walking around and really criticizing people for having tattoos is extraordinarily low these days. Extraordinarily low.
Well, because
So-
like you said, at this point, you're the odd man out, almost.
Entirely. And again, I might get a tattoo before I die. If I did something cool, if I went to the fucking moon and came back, I'm getting a fucking tattoo.
The lunar lander tattoo or some
Exactly.
shit.
Yeah. And like, I know a lot of people in the Navy who a lot of them have tattoos for like different events that might happen through their career. Like, if they cross the equator, a lot of them get like a sea turtle tattoo. So
Yeah.
it's a tattoo that kind of means something in that niche group, and it's still like a sense of accomplishment. Like, hey, this is my sign that I accomplished this. So it's like a rite of passage. I get that. I totally get that. I'm just, again, not against tattoos. But I do think a lot of people get them for really stupid reasons. And a lot of people try to rub in the face of, I'm so unique. No, you're not unique, okay? your tattoo might be cool, but it doesn't mean you're unique. Just is what it
I would
is.
say the tattoo is unique.
A lot of times I still disagree with that because Lord knows how many people I always see with the same fucking like 3 tattoos.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think like it just comes down to the individual person, like anything else.
Oh, totally. And again, I think tattoo artwork's cool. I do think it.
My uncle or great uncle, I guess, he has a naked woman on his arm that he got when he was in the army.
Kat's granddad had a naked woman on his arm because he was in the Navy.
Nice. Naked women are just the thing, apparently.
Well, of course they are.
Of course, now it's a green blob, but you know.
It's a green blob?
No, like the tattoo is a green blob. Like the
so
ink
it's, like,
fades
faded.
and warps and oh yeah. Basically,
Yeah, it can be
unless it's a
kinda hard
high
to keep it.
quality unless it's a high quality black and like just black ink tattoo, it's gonna happen. And then you're just gonna have like you're gonna look like the creature from the Black Lagoon.
Oh yeah, I would actually never get a color tattoo, to be perfectly honest. I would only go black and white tattoos.
I don't. Well, one thing is I'm too fucking hairy for a tattoo. But even if I wasn't, I don't think I would get one. I haven't found anything yet that I'd permanently want written or drawn on my body. So.
I have like a few things I have in mind where if I actually did those things, I would get tattoos for. So like one of them is if I did an Iron Man, I probably would get an Iron Man tattoo. I think it seems kind of like a crazy event to do. After that, if I got back into boxing, and I'm not saying if I became a pro or some shit like that, because that ain't gonna happen. I'm not that good. But if I was able to even compete in something like the Golden Gloves, which is like that dude just ran you the fuck over. I was right behind him.
Yeah, and he was a teammate. That was the best part.
Yeah, I just see you running in front of me and just get smoked. But
my
like
yams, this really he's holding his own. Anyways,
but yeah, like if I did like something the Golden Gloves for like the amateur boxing world, like it's kind of like a big amateur boxing tournament. If I did well in those, I would get like a small, like one of those like little mini, like I'm not sure if you ever seen it, Manny Pacquiao's like a very, very small, just like outline of a boxing glove that's like the size of like a nickel maybe on his chest, and that's like it. And it's just a black little outline of a boxing glove, and that's all it is. I would probably get something like that maybe, like if I did something like in the Golden Gloves, just because that would be like a big highlight of my life, and I would, it'd be something I'd be proud of. I'd be proud to show that, even if it's something small. But yeah, there's not much I could really think that Everest. I would do it for Everest. But I don't know yet if I actually want to attempt to ever climb Everest.
Well, from what I understand, and I'm not saying that like you wouldn't do this, but like they don't they take you up to like a certain spot? Like they run you through some kind of like physical like gamut of shit, and then if you can't pass that, they basically tell you to go back down.
It's not even just that. So you have to get acclimated. So a lot of people, they'll have to go up there and actually like spend. It can be like months and months for a process to really get to a point where you're at a level where you can actually go and to the top. So very few people go there and just walk, just start heading up. A lot of people, they'll stay at base camp further down the mountain for literally sometimes weeks and shit, just getting acclimated, and then they'll go to the top. But here's the thing. When part of going to the top is literally following a road of dead bodies, that is kind of creepy. It is called the Rainbow Road, which is kind of creepy also. Because, of course, they're wearing, if you're climbing a mountain like that, you're wearing very bright colors because you want people to see you if you do fall or something like that, right? Or if you are stranded.
Yeah.
So it's called the Rainbow Road because you're just passing all these dead people who are in, bright color gear, and because they were frozen solid, it's their jackets, and it's just frozen over. And the altitude's so high, they can't send someone up to get the bodies either. So, like, they can't recover the bodies. It's just impossible to do. And So yeah, when you go up the path, you're doing. There's markers along the way that they call like Brad's Mark or Brad Point, and it's like just some dude named Brad who died there. Like,
Or
yeah, when you see Brad, you know you're on the right track. Okay, good to know. So
yeah.
like, I said I'm more than willing to die to go to space. I'm not sure if I'm more than willing to die to climb Mount Everest. And people still routinely kind of, there's still a lot of people out there who die trying to go up Everest.
Oh God, yeah. Oh yeah.
And I'm in pretty good physical. I'm a little fat now for sure.
Which
but, I have a quick call I actually have to take.
okay.
I'm not sure if he intended on calling me or not. He seemed like he was like high or drunk or something.
Who was that?
It was the person I'm supposed to go meet with in New York.
Oh jeez.
You're like, so what's happening? I'm like, well, so far, I'm going around this time flying in here. He's like, cool. I'm like, yeah, so y'all picking me up? Yeah, just, general time, that's good. Okay. I was like, that was it. that was the whole conversation. I don't know exactly what, he might have just been checking just to make sure it is tomorrow, I guess was the big thing. But, yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, that was kind of strange.
Wow.
Yeah, that, normally I actually kind of look forward to New York trips for the most part. Like, though I don't really care that much for the city, there's a lot of stuff I do enjoy in the city, to do. And I have like my spots, right? Like I have the spots that like I like to go to in New York. But with all the lockdowns and shit, there's just everything I normally would do in New York I can't do. So it's kind of like I don't have a point in going.
It's strictly business at this point.
It really is. And the thing is, like, even like the restaurants I would go eat while I'm there for business, like I can't.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, what the fuck? I'm just gonna be stuck in my hotel room. That's all I'm gonna do. I'm gonna be stuck in my hotel room. I mean,
At that point, why do you even have to travel?
because I still have to get the offices set up and everything like that. Like there's still shit that has to be done.
Okay.
But it's like I'll have no. I not like I have a shit ton of free time as is when I'm doing one of these operations, but I still have typically a little bit of free time, or at least I can order like some really good fucking food from my hotel, right? Because there's food everywhere in New York. But when everything's closed down and a lot of places are out of business, like the only business that's left is like the big business. There's no really small businesses left anymore over there because of the lockdowns. They just they couldn't pay rent. They couldn't you can't survive like that. So that means like the only shit I can order is gonna be shit like McDonald's basically. I'm not gonna be able to like go, like I'm not gonna be able to take like the subway to Chinatown and go to my favorite Chinese restaurant there that where they don't speak any English and I just have to point at the things I want on the menu. Like it's a really great place that's like in a real back alley of Chinatown. But man, the dim sum, just oh my god, it's the best I've ever had. And I just have to like look at the menu with all and point at the pictures I want. I'm not gonna be able to do that this trip. It's just kind of.
Luckily, they all have the same pictures.
Oh no, they actually have like different pictures of this one.
Oh.
They just like took pictures of their own dishes.
That honestly could have been like a stand-up bit. Like the way that you describe it, it's just hilarious.
I'm gonna have to like save that for another conversation sometime. Like try to find a way to naturally bring it up like next Friday. And what's the deal with Chinese restaurants?
They always have the same pictures of food.
I think the reason though why sometimes when I go on those little things it's funny is because it's like I almost like get playfully angry at it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's kind of like my level of comedy, I guess, is where I get really energetic, over exaggerated, and almost like it comes across as like mildly irritated. That's kind of, I guess, my typical line of comedy that works well for me in most situations.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't really try to be funny that many times. I'm not saying I'm naturally funny. I'm just saying I don't try to be funny.
You have a very dry, like, delivery of lines that are hysterical at times. Like, the way you deliver it's like the Subway of Mexican restaurants. Like, it's not, like, part of the way that made that so funny was because of your delivery of just plain-faced about it, basically.
Ugh.
The people on Minds.com absolutely love that little bit.
I'm glad for the people of Minds.com, I guess. Probably will never go on that website, but I'm glad that I'm able to.
I still say it's actually better than most of them out there right now. It probably is the only one that's actually, for one, because it has a mixed user base, which is kind of nice right now.
Yeah.
It's one of the few like alternatives to Twitter and Facebook and all that. That's actually, I think, solid. Like all.
I guess.
And also, you know.
I don't know. Just my whole thing is just social media in general isn't really my thing.
I agree. Totally agree.
Even when I'm around people that I like.
The only thing.
I don't know.
Yeah, the only thing that I'm like, even like social media, the closest thing I have to that I really follow that much is YouTube. That's it. Like, I used to post a lot more on Twitter because my job kind of demanded it in a way. I don't do that anymore. I avoid Twitter now for the most part. At Minds, I just put like the gaming shorts on there, and that's it. Hiccup.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah.
I have Twitch and Discord pretty much, and even then, I'm not terribly active in Discord a lot of times.
Yeah, was it? Yeah, I'm never really doing anything on Discord at all.
I'm on Discord mainly just I'm mainly just on it for like streamers and stuff. Well, pretty much not even just mainly. I am on it for streamers and stuff that I know. I like Uber Butt Slayer.
Arsenic Chunk, I like that.
Pink Bandage. And Soup Time Chicken. Man,
I Fist Cortana. Oh my god.
Oh no. Oh no.
Oh boy.
That's one where I honestly just have to go like who allowed that? Because fucking Ickleboy gets caught by sensors in like this gamer tag system, but I Fist Cortana does not. Like that's a topsy-turvy.
Man, what am I going to make my gamer tag? This, and this? Nah. I got it.
I honestly think that, like, because I've come up with stupid, like, joke usernames like that, but then...
Hey, you came up with Barbecue Barnes.
Did I?
Yeah, that was you, man.
I don't remember that. I thought you just used that for your email or something.
No, it was my gamer tag. It became my gamer tag before it became my email. It was because you helped me create one. I was, like, trying to think of a good one to use, and you're the one who... kind of like it was kind of, I guess, a collaborative in a way, but no, I still say when it comes to credit name, you're the one who helped me out more with getting that name than, well, me.
I'll just take your word for it, because I honestly have no memory of that, and I'm pretty good at remembering stuff most of the time.
I know, but I remember you helped me out with that. I think you helped me out with Spitty too.
Well, we just called you Spitty from middle school.
Yeah, exactly.
When you changed it from, I think Badass LTS got reported, right? It was something
No,
like
I think I just changed that one because I kind of realized it was kind of lame.
I suppose. Yeah, because like Chen and them still call you Spitty.
Yeah.
I just find that kind of funny.
That was a case where, like, I did something in middle school where I kind of was like, man, I was stupid. I shouldn't have done that. And everyone was calling me Spitty. And then I was like, nah, I guess you own it. And then I just kind of like, like, make my gamer tag it. Let's do it.
Well, I think where Spitty came from was Camp Laszlo was really popular.
Yeah.
And like he had the pet llama named Spitty.
Yeah. Well, I could also do the whole foam at the mouth thing.
Yeah.
I think that's where it kind of really...
Yeah, there's some creative backstory behind, like, I don't know. Like, everybody on Twitch is like, where does ham and taters come from? And I'm like, I was hungry.
BBQ Bars is just because I started getting to barbecue, and we were eating barbecue at the house all the time, so...
Yeah, that's true. I know, like, most people either laugh or just say it's cute. Like, when I follow them on Twitch or whatever, and the thing comes up. But mostly I get, your name's making me hungry, man. I'm like, thank you.
Yeah, also, I've stuck with barbecue bars because I've actually felt like if I ever wanted to do something with the name, it's actually decent branding. So...
Yeah. Well, since it's your last name.
And
I'm not
because...
don't say my last name, but mine definitely does not roll off the tongue for anything like that.
Yeah, well, it's like... And there was a lot that I could kind of work. I took our old barbecue logo and turned it to my new like gamer tag and channel thing like that, and so
Yeah.
like I already had like kind of the material to be able to use if I kind of wanted to kind of brand it in a certain way. And I was always wondering like how I was going to end up branding it because I kind of thought of a few different things along the way of like how am I going to end up brand this into something? Cause I always want to do like YouTube videos and shit like that.
Yeah.
And now at first I was like, should I do political? And I went, nah, that doesn't really work for that. That wouldn't really make any sense. And so I have a new thing for that. And I'm not gonna go detail with being on Twitch streaming, talking about anything like that. But like
Yeah.
I got like a new thing I'm working with on that one that's again actually pretty solid branding that I'm really happy with. But like I figure, barbecue bar, I can actually turn that with a gaming thing. And I've still been thinking about how I'm going to eventually, hopefully one day change the logo itself to have basically the same logo, but instead of him grilling, maybe have like the pig actually playing like, Xbox or some shit like that, right? Basically, very still similar. Kind of like the idea of like, the laid back pig in a hammock kind of deal.
Yeah. I know a couple people that have designed channel logos.
Well, I still know the person who designed this logo, so I might just get them. Because I like the art. I really like the art style of this current one a lot.
Yeah, well, because like it's very professional looking, even if like the concept is silly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a pig in a hammock.
Yeah.
Like I don't know.
Well, just like
it looks
like,
good.
Yeah. It looks like an official like restaurant style art. Like,
yeah. No, it really does.
But in some ways in some ways I'm kind of like, like this with streaming and kind of playing video games, kind of what I wanted this channel to be at first. Not really. I'm not sure if that's still kind of the full direction I want to take it. To a point, I kind of like it, and to the other side, I'm like, I don't know. I kind of also like the idea of like just doing something just like game reviews or just gaming topics and stuff like that, right? So I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to fit that into with it all. Because now I like the streaming stuff, and I like the gaming stuff, and I want to keep that as a form of content that I want to keep pursuing and being better at through some method. I'm not sure how I want to intertangle though with some of the other projects I would actually like to do, because like I kind of miss doing those like more complex editing projects with like the game review shit. Like even if they weren't good really, but the editing along with it wasn't that bad, and I was kind of I was actually kind of proud of my first, like, the Super Hot one, right? Like, I thought the editing on, like, the Super Hot one, I was like, the review wasn't that great. My dialogue and how I actually communicated right now isn't that great. However, the editing and transition and shit like that wasn't that bad. I was actually very happy with it, and I don't really get to do as much of that, obviously, with gameplay shit.
Well, I think, like, even without streams, like, I don't know. I feel like you benefit from a more informal approach.
I definitely do, and that's
to a lot of that kind of stuff.
Well, it fits my style a bit better too. Like, I'm not a very formal style person in the first place.
No, me neither.
And I'm very much a laid back kind of guy, which doesn't really always transition well on camera when it's solo. Like, if you have like someone to bounce shit off of, I think it comes across all right. But
yeah.
Like right now, conversation is easy. If there's no one here, then my conversation becomes more difficult, right?
Yeah.
I do think it suits me better for overall. But, you know, you still want to pursue some of those passion projects every now and again. The problem is I got too many fucking projects. And it's not like I'm doing YouTube full time either. Like, I still have a normal job. Like, I'm doing these, I'm doing the summit stuff. I'm also trying to design a full website for that shit too. I also have, you know, I want to do some stuff involving politics for videos. That's again, I want to do more, you know, do more of that as well. And I also still want to try to do some type of game reviews as well as streaming. Like, it's just, I don't want to drop anything, but, you know, I have to find a way to fit all that in somehow. And it's doable. And I've gotten better about my scheduling out now to where I can do it. Like, I don't stream or do anything on Thursdays because Thursdays is my summit day. I work on summit stuff when I'm on Thursdays. Weekends, I don't typically do that much either, except for rendering out a lot of the footage from this right here. And that's kind of its own side thing, which lets me to be able to focus on other stuff while it renders in the background.
Oh, jeez.
So I've gotten better at it, but geez, every time I see I fist Cortana, that's just something else.
I drove Pink Bandage around and got him, like, I mean, probably about 4 or 5 kills at least.
But yeah, I got all these different type of projects I kind of want to do, and it's difficult to have time without being a full-time YouTuber. If I could get to a full-time YouTuber or streamer or something like that, then sure, I could probably actually pursue some of that stuff.
Yeah. Oh my god.
What?
Look at Soup Time Chicken's clan thing. And I fist Cortana. Look at all those people. BBW, like, just like take a moment to like look at that entire scoreboard.
BJ from Cortana. That is awful.
Doctor and nurse assistant.
Nurse come, assistant come.
Oh my God.
Doctor come.
And then we're just Duck, and then the other guy is just Cake.
I like the guy who just butt.
But.
Oh god. Yeah, I'm still thinking about trying to find a way also to possibly actually change this channel to be more of a full just streaming and let's play channel, and like maybe find a different name that actually fits, that kind of could still move everyone together. But I'm not sure what to name it. I'm
honestly not sure. That's a hard one though.
So here's the thing. I either want it to either be A, barbecue related, right? So somewhat still in the same vein. Or B, Summit related. That way I can also tie it into stuff I'm doing with Summit. And so somewhere around those ranges, but I just don't know
Well, Summit Gaming just sounds like you're trying to form an esports league.
Yeah, that sounds too like
To me.
not like cool, but like serious.
Yeah, yeah. I like
So
October. And Carl is for shizzle.
now I already have like a good idea in my head of what the graphic could be for Summit Gaming, where it's like almost like a bunch of guys sitting on kind of like a cliff edge kind of deal with a kind of cartoony looking, of course. So the mountain, it's like very small, but of course, they're blown out proportion kind of deal on the mountain, on the foothill of it, just like with the Xbox and TV gaming out, right? So I kind of in my head of like how the graphic would work for something like that, but I'm like, no. And barbecue, like I like there's not like there's stuff that would work if everyone understood barbecue lingo, but now everyone understands barbecue lingo.
Yeah.
So
Why is poo always a service tag?
Oh god, that's
Like
great.
every game, there's always someone named Pooh.
Yeah, like I don't know how I want to transition it yet. However, I really probably don't need to transition it towards more people anyway.
It's up to
Like-
you. I mean,
like-
it basically at this point, it's as much or as little as you want it to be,
Oh yeah,
since it's like not a full-time thing, you know.
exactly. It's bad because I do want to like be a YouTuber to some degree.
Oh, yeah. See, I don't know. I have very little interest in that kind of thing.
Oh yeah. I don't know, I just like the idea of creating, which sounds weird 'cause I've never really been much of an artistic person, I guess. But I've
Yeah.
always liked the idea of like creating businesses, and in a way, that's kind of what it is. It's a form of business.
Yeah.
So I kind of do enjoy, and since I do also do, I do like video editing and shit. So
Oh my god. I was looking at your dead body because I thought you were just standing there.
But yeah, so
like,
like,
are
I
you
have
okay?
an interest in getting better at video editing and creating videos and shit like that in general. And then I also like forming businesses, and helping business. And I like seeing businesses grow. So that kind of then meets in the middle of saying I want a YouTube channel that grows.
Which, like I said before, like in my case with the audio recording stuff, I'm just doing that.
Yeah.
Just like to do it, but the main reason that I wanted you guys to listen to it was because I wanted to see if the editing was any good.
So I need the file again because I can't seem to find the file. Because
I can,
yeah.
I can. I'll just email it to you.
Oh, yeah,
Because
that'd
like
be
on
much better.
Skype, it just goes away.
Yeah, no, that'd be much better. Yeah, because I couldn't really find the audio anymore, so I was like, well, shit, I still can't get it.
Yeah,
so
I'll just
I wanna-
email it to you.
Because obviously now I'm actually learning how audio works. I get kind of interested in shit like that now.
Yeah,
So I do want to see how that
I
Yeti
don't-
performed with that style.
I don't think the audio sounds all that bad. Like if I say so myself, but I edited. That's such a weird word to say.
it is.
Edited it myself. And I do know that I messed up on one word. Because I said there's a part where it's like water running over a river smooth stone. I couldn't even say it just then.
that is
And
that is a
I
limerick,
said
basically.
I said river smooth stone like that. That's the only part where I messed up in that entire reading, like as far as pronunciation goes.
So, there's a few things that I guess I have now that I'm kind of embarrassed about. One of them for me though is actually reading out loud. Like I mispronounce stuff a lot, and also for whatever reason I fumble over my words if I'm reading a book out loud all the damn time. Like I don't know what it is, but I really do struggle with reading out loud. And that's one of those things where I've actually tried to get a bit better at, and hopefully maybe having a kid will help me with that, because I want to read to my kid and shit.
My God, man. This October
17,
guy,
good
sorry to
God.
cut you off, but yeah. He fucking went into free-for-all to clean up.
Yeah, no, it's kind of funny because like if someone said, "Hey James, right now, give a presentation on X," right? Like I'll go, "Hell yeah, let's do it," and I'll just start talking, right? If you and I won't get nervous, I won't get any of that, right? I just go at it and just do it. If you told me, "Hey James, could you read paragraph 2, please?" Like it's like I'm back in school again, and like I don't, and I'm like, "Oh no, please don't pick on me." Like I don't know what it is, but I've never been good at like just reading out shit. Like I'm
If
trying
there
to
were
get better.
advice I could give you, I would give it, but I honestly don't even know either.
Well, I think the advice really all it is just do it more. I think that's most
Yeah,
things. Like
yeah.
I think it was Nietzsche who said that the fool is the precursor to the genius or precursor to the king or something like that. But the fool is always a precursor to greatness. Basically, is the gist of it. And it's because obviously, if you start anything, you're going to suck at it, right? You know, everyone starts bad. No one really usually starts great. You know, people go, well, that kid at 10 years old, he was already sinking 3-pointers from half court or, making half court shots. Yeah, but he started when he was what, like 2? And he sucked when he was 2. So, yeah. Whenever someone starts, it's always, it's always difficult to do. So I know my thing is I got to do it more. But,
Yeah.
So, like, I even have a thing where if I'm home alone and I'm reading a book, I'll actually read it out loud to try to get more accustomed to reading shit out loud. I feel like I'm like one of those like handicapped guys like in a movie about like success who's like really handicapped. Maybe I should reword that. The like illiterate guy who's like, yeah, he's smart, but he can't read and he's gonna try to learn, and so he's like hiding out, trying to like read out words.
Jeez.
And it's weird because like if I read normal, like fuck man, I've like read the Odyssey like 3-4 times at this point. I think 3 times now. Like I read like a lot of like complex shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm in my head.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know where that comes from.
Yeah, because you do like I remember in school, even you did very well when it came to just like reading out loud and shit.
I think it's because like I don't really mean this as like a point to brag or anything, but I don't really ever remember not knowing how to read well. And so
Well, to a point, yeah, same
I don't
here.
know.
I think we
don't know.
both kind of learned at home, didn't we? Like I take it your
Pretty
mom
much.
taught you.
Again, not trying to brag.
But you don't
My
remember.
My parents describe it as I picked up a book and started reading it out loud. They said that they never actually taught me how to read. They were mystified as to how that happened.
I mean, that's awesome.
They said I just picked a book up and started reading it out loud and like could instantly comprehend the words.
That's awesome. It might
And
came just from hearing people talk enough. I know that's a big part of it.
Yeah. Well, that's my thing is like my parents never used like baby talk or anything
So that is one
around
thing
me.
that it drives me kind of crazy to a certain regard, because I get it, like, you baby talk a dog and shit like that, right?
Yeah.
But you should not actually baby talk a baby for the most part. You should actually, and you can for a little bit, like, ooh, look at you. But then, like, but you should still try to, like, talk somewhat normal around the baby.
Yeah.
Because it does help them comprehend language better. It really does make a huge, huge difference.
Yeah.
And like I legit plan on, I mean, before he can even say dada or mama, I'm already gonna be reading fucking Socrates and Aristotle and shit. And the reason is because studies do show that it's a weird level of retention that children have, even if they don't understand the words. After they learn the words, they actually then begin to understand, like, what they heard in their past will start kind of having effect. And obviously, part of that science is still under debate, obviously. But, there's a lot of science that basically does show, yeah, stuff like listening to classical music does actually, there's a lot of evidence saying it does work. And also, I just want him to constantly be exposed to the classics as a normal thing. Like, I don't want him to look at like, oh, that's the Odyssey. I want to be like, yeah, dude, it's the Odyssey. Like, yeah, no shit, you read it. Like, yeah, man, I read it when I was like 10 years old, dude. I mean, come on.
Ooh,
Like,
that's the Odyssey.
well, like, I don't like the fact that, like, I didn't read Plato's Republic until I was in college. Like, that should have been something that should have been, like, required reading in school. I think there's a lot of stuff that should be required reading in school that just fucking isn't. Like, I think almost all those classics should be required reading in school. I mean, from
You think kids don't want to read Huck Finn? Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Well, also, we also need to get away from the fact of, so there's some things that we do need to force kids to read in a certain regard, in the sense of you need to read X, Y, and Z. However, we also need to get away from the fact of discouraging them from reading things they do enjoy, like comic books and things like that. Like,
Yep.
you
Thanks,
need,
Mr. Bryson, if you're out there.
What, did he encourage you or discourage? Like what?
He discouraged. I was writing a comic book and reading it, and he ripped it out of my binder and tore it up in front of the entire
What?
English class and told me to read
crazy.
actual literature.
Well, like, I didn't start reading until I started, like, my first books I ever started reading that were actually, I guess, more complex books in a way. I mean, I guess you could say those NASA things I read, sure, like, I read it, but, like, when it came to, I guess, like, novels or anything like that, the first ones I read were, like, the Halo books, right? And it was because it was something that I really enjoyed. And then it was, like, the X-Wing series, because, you know, obviously, I, big fan of Star Wars. It was something I really enjoyed. And it wasn't, and, you know, I had people who kind of look down on that a bit. Like, all right, the Star Wars Tales shit, right? I had tons of people ridicule me for wanting to read that, saying it's not real reading
Oh,
or
yeah.
anything like that.
Yeah,
It's
I
like,
remember
dude-
reading that and Ultimate Spider-Man in middle school. And those were the ones that...
Okay, by the way, I don't know how the fuck our school had Star Wars Tales, because that verges on pornography in a lot of different parts.
Yeah.
Like, I'm talking, like, there was parts I was like, holy shit, and I had to, like, hide it from, like, anyone that was around, because it was... and there's, like, a whole storyline where, like, freaking... I think it's, like, Leia is, like, trying to sneak to a crime syndicate, and for some reason she's, like, fucking triple E's. And is, like, stick thin, and is flirting, and basically goes up to have sex with a gang boss, and then kills him right before in a very sexy way. Like a Mr. and Mrs. Smith type scenario. And I'm just over here, like, as a, a middle schooler, like, holy fuck, this is hot.
I guess that shows you how clueless I am about it, because I was probably just reading it like, oh yeah, like...
Man, there was
She's doing this
big-titted
stealthy
women
part.
everywhere in those things. Like, I don't know how the fuck it was allowed.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
I
mean,
feel
let's
like
be
the school
real.
opened
Twi'leks
up...
were basically the Asari of Star Wars.
Oh, yeah. No, like, I really feel like the school probably just, like, opened one of them up and just was like, huh, look, Skippy the Jedi droid. That must be what this shit's about. Okay.
Skippy the Jedi. That's the best fucking story, let's be real.
But yeah, it's like, I feel like they just opened up to that and went, yeah, this should be allowed, and just signed off on it, not realizing there was basically, again, at that one point, like...
And quite a
Leia
lot of
Lee starts-
graphic violence, I remember.
Dude, Darth Maul versus Darth Vader. I mean, for fuck's sake. Like, when he's, like...
Yeah.
Or, there was that one, I think it was the Ewoks from a different perspective. It was, like, from the perspective of the Empire. And, like, they had, like, fucking Vietnam, like, type traps where Stormtroopers' legs were broken in half and shit. And that they basically implied the Ewoks were eating them alive. And, like, there was one page of, like, a Stormtrooper's mask broken apart by, like, a club that he was hit with all the shrapnel, like, cut into his face, bloodied up, screaming for help. Like, it was some fucking dark shit.
I remember there was one really cool story about, it was Mace Windu as a Padawan, like, finding the crystal to make his lightsaber.
Man,
That was
I
a
need
really,
to find,
like,
I need to
cool
find those books and just buy them.
I'd imagine they're kind of expensive now, because they've been out of print for so long.
I know. The,
But
I know,
that's the kind of shit that I wish Star Wars would do more of again.
I know, where it also took a lot of
You
risk.
know.
And again, they basically just printed out pornography and some of those things. I'm just going to put it out there.
Yeah. I don't really know that it was all that much more risky because, like, let's face it, even before Disney, like, if it had Star Wars on it, a lot of people would buy it.
I don't
You know what I
still-
mean? But
Like,
it still overall there was a lot more effort put into it.
I would still say risk in the sense of, like, I'm playing, like, replaying through Republic Commando, man. That shit is, like, I don't see Disney ever doing something like that with Star Wars. Ever. Like, that was, and there's parts of that where it does get kind of serious.
Because they had creative control over Jedi Fallen Order, I guess. So they were like, like the team originally wanted to put like dismemberment in there and that kind of stuff.
Like in Jedi Outcast and shit.
Yeah, like when they get hit by your lightsaber, they just kind of flop over
See, that's
and
not
die. Which Jedi Fallen Order is a good game, I would say.
Yeah, I watched someone do the beginning of that, and I was like, holy shit, I need to play this game.
It's on EA Play for Xbox and PC. Like, that's included in Game Pass now.
Or at least I assume it was the beginning. It was Order 66, so I'm assuming that's at the beginning.
No, that's actually like near the end of the game. He has like a
really?
flashback to it. Yeah.
Okay, I saw that and I went, holy shit, this is like awesome.
Yeah. Which
So
there's a lot
I'm
of
all
great
for
like
playing it
action
now.
set pieces in the game in general. The beginning's still pretty great. And the
Yeah.
ending is, oh man.
Yeah, I am all for trying it. I just haven't like sat down. Like, I don't have it on computer and I don't ever touch my Xbox.
Yeah.
So, like, I haven't really had money to really go for it yet. So it's been
Yeah.
like I haven't been able to really have a chance to really go for or to get it on PC to go
Well,
do.
At the very least, like, since you've mentioned the Game Pass thing doesn't work for you that well.
No, it's all screwed up. I don't know what the hell's wrong with it.
If you have Origin and then like they have EA Play through Origin, like, I don't know, like $5 for the first month gets you Jedi Fallen Order
Oh,
and like all the other EA games. So I mean, that could be an avenue. I would highly recommend playing it though, because it's basically Dark Souls in a Star Wars world, which is kind of cool. I know Nick is a huge fan of it because he loves Dark Souls so much.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I've still, I haven't really enjoyed a Star Wars game since maybe, I don't know what. Maybe it has been. Guys, it really been since Republic Commando for me.
Well, Battlefront 2 came out after Republic Commando.
It did, okay, it did. Okay, then yeah, Battlefront 2. Then, what about Jedi
Yeah.
Academy? When did that one come out?
2003.
So, yeah, I guess Battlefront 2 would be the last Star Wars game that I was actually like really like, God, this is amazing. And of course, the original Battlefront 2, I felt that way.
Yeah.
But there hasn't been one that's come out that's caught me the same way as any of those older ones have yet. And
I actually liked the new first Battlefront better than the new Battlefront 2.
really,
But admittedly, like, they're both pretty kind of meh games overall.
so I kind of want to start playing Battlefront 2 because I heard they changed a lot and it actually is a lot of fun now. So
Yeah, it was free on the Epic Game Store for a good while.
oh wow. Yeah, like I feel like kind of now I kind of want to try it maybe, but
If I had a computer that could run it, I mean, I'd play it.
oh, so I tell you about the stupid mistake I made in ordering parts.
Yeah, you did.
I bought the i9 without even checking if my motherboard could handle it.
Yeah.
I'm fucking stupid.
It happens.
Yeah, but it's actually good because I was going to actually be building up a new computer set anyway, so this actually is...
Yeah.
This is going to make me get a better motherboard, which, motherboards aren't too pricey anyway, so...
I know, like, laptops are fucking expensive as shit now, like gaming laptops.
Yeah, so the one I'm getting right now is about $1,200.
Oh, yeah.
It has like an i7, whatever the laptop version, and it's not as good as a 2060, but it's called like something 2060 or something like that for graphics.
2060M, probably,
Yeah,
or
or I
something
think it was
like
like
that.
RX maybe or some weird shit. But yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that comparison is toward the actual GPUs, but I know it's good enough to run. I checked online. I was like, okay, it's good enough to run Cyberpunk and shit like that. So, okay, I'll go with it.
I know my I have a 755M, which is like the laptop equivalent of a desktop 640. So not great, but I can still run Master Chief Collection. I can run Fall Guys at normal settings, so it's like I'm very surprised at like what I've been able to get working on that laptop. And I think the big thing is that the CPU is still like a good CPU. Like when I ran like a system requirements check for Cyberpunk just out of curiosity. I know damn well that my computer couldn't run it like at all. And they said that the processor was the best part. Like the processor would still be able to run it if I had a graphics card and some more RAM.
Yeah, for me, my processor is the weakest part of my entire computer right now, because I'm still using an i5.
Yeah, I have an i7 of some kind, but it's still nowhere near the power of like an actual i7. Like especially a current one, but for 2014 it was a pretty good laptop.
Yeah. I got the freaking i9. It was like, of course, like $450 kind of deal, so it was expensive as fuck.
Oh yeah.
But I'm excited for when I start building up this new PC setup to actually really be able to actually handle a lot more shit. So again, upgrade my GPU to a 20 series probably.
That's what's up.
Motherboard, haven't decided on motherboard. I've looked up a few, but I mean, to be honest, like I understand a lot when it comes to computer parts. I actually don't understand really what makes a motherboard really that much more special than the others.
That's the only one that I don't really get either.
And everything I look at and what people keep telling me online is there really isn't anything that makes any of them special for the most part, other than they can fit the right slots for the new tech.
Yeah.
So I'm not overly concerned about it on that front. I'll still get probably a mid-range one just to make sure I'm still safe, but...
Yeah. I would be so scared to build my own gaming PC.
I am kind of nervous because I've never put a processor in before.
Yeah.
Like,
Did you get a pre-built one, or did you build your own?
I got a pre-built one from
okay.
Cyber
Power.
Yeah. And it's funny because I'm much, it's like Shannon them used to tell me, man, that's stupid. Don't do that. Don't do that. They're not going to do it right. Not going to do it right. I've never had any issue with it. And so here's the thing also about getting a pre-built one that I think is criminally underrated about getting a pre-built one. And that is cord management. If you get a pre-built one, they know how to actually like zip tie the cords in a way where they are not in anything. They're not, they're not crossing at all. They're all in very easy to get to spots. Like, the cord management is like the one thing I'm concerned about when doing this PC is like I don't know how to do cord management properly.
Yeah.
But like I also want to know if I'm going to stick to this even PC tower. Actually, I might change up and get a new tower as well. I don't know. Because I might want to still keep this PC separate because I'm basically buying new almost everything, right? So yeah. I still have my other DDR4 RAM sticks that I had before I got the 16 gig in here. So I might actually plug in the 8 gig RAM sticks again with it, and I might just have it for other reasons. Like, now to be honest, I might use it to mine crypto, right? I mean, it's 1060 in there. It's good enough to mine a decent amount of cryptocurrency, so I can still mine crypto with it. And I can just set that up, like, I can set up in the goddamn garage and just have mine crypto all day long. Because power is not too pricey for us right now. So,
yeah.
And because if I'm very bullish when it comes to Bitcoin, I think it's going to go extremely high. So I think even if it does cost me money to mine at this point to a certain degree, I might still be able to pull out a profit, 5 years from now. But I found out I had $200 from my mining back in Virginia Beach that was just sitting on my computer, so I went ahead and got that transferred.
Nice.
It was funny because it was only worth like $40 when I mined it, and now it was like $200. Crazy gain. But also back then I didn't pay for electricity, so I just kept that fucker running. Lord knows what damage I've done to my graphics card mining crypto though. Now everyone's buying Dogecoin.
Okay. That might you basically just said now everybody's speaking Greek instead of Latin. That doesn't mean anything to me.
So the whole thing is Dogecoin was always kind of a joke coin. Like some dude was basically like, so Bitcoin's like.
Is it like the meme Doge, like
yes.
the fluffy dog?
Yes,
really?
yes, exactly. No, the coin has a dog. Yeah. That's
hysterical.
It was a total joke coin, and there was a time I remember seeing it. It was literally worth like less than 1/100th of a cent. Like that is how little it was worth.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's worth 7 cents. So it doesn't sound like a lot, but if you bought a shit ton for 1/100th of a cent, you're doing fairly well. Actually.
Oh yeah.
So I know people who actually like, got some back in the day as just like a joke kind of thing of, hey, look, Doge, okay, and got just like $1,000 worth. Man, they're sitting on a fucking fortune now. However, it's also kind of funny because at this point I would know like, I don't know, maybe like 4 cryptocurrency millionaires at this point, which is kind of cool. It makes me wish I listened earlier. But at the same time, I'm also like, it's still probably going to skyrocket and do more. Cryptocurrency is fascinating. Just the whole method of it working is fascinating. I love it. Absolutely love it.
Do you think eventually that digital currency pretty much already has replaced paper money, just not
totally.
Cryptocurrency?
Yeah. So the reason why, basically, are you asking, do I think it will eventually like take over a form of cryptocurrency? Totally.
Yeah.
And the reason is because, and luckily we don't have a lot of viewers, so it won't go over a bunch of people's heads. We got off gold standard a long time ago, right?
Oh yeah.
And of course, with the Federal Reserve, that basically made it so they could print unlimited money and never stop, right? So, ever since we got off the gold standard, we've had massive inflation because we just keep print money. And obviously, the more of something you have, the less valuable it actually is. Basically around 50% of all currency that's been printed has been printed in this year alone. I mean, that should alone scare everyone when it comes to just, what that means. Or just last year alone, basically. Or no, it's past 12 months is how it works. So the good part about cryptocurrency, though, is there will never be any more of that particular currency. It is a set amount and can't be created anymore. Once it's been set at a certain amount, basically there's no way there's ever going to be any more Bitcoin other than the Bitcoin that's still available to be mined, and that is also still at a set number. And I forget what that number is. I believe, though, it's still in the millions of Bitcoin that can be mined. Now, this is where it gets kind of techie, and I'm going to try to simplify it to the biggest degree possible. Think of it as the one thing that keeps the financial servers for Bitcoin working is people mining for Bitcoin. So the act of mining, all it is basically your computer is basically handling tons of algorithms nonstop. And after it cracks a certain amount of algorithms, it rewards you through a certain amount of Bitcoin, right? So the pure process of your computer mining Bitcoin is also the same thing that keeps Bitcoin working, which means it is completely separated from any main platform. So there's nowhere someone can go and just go, I'm yanking the power on Bitcoin. It can't be done. So long as there are people mining, nothing will ever happen to the coin. It will all of its financial ability will be stable. And even if people stop mining, it still will be stable to a certain degree as well. But mining basically helps keep the blockchain moving, and the blockchain basically is what keeps track of everything. So every transaction you make with Bitcoin can be tracked in the blockchain. Every transaction you ever make. Doesn't mean there aren't some ways to kind of make it a bit fuzzier with how it tracks, but it still will track. It will always be registered. So it also makes things like what was it? For when it makes imposter coins impossible. So you can't fake a Bitcoin, right? A Bitcoin is only a Bitcoin. There's nothing else that can replace a Bitcoin other than another Bitcoin. And also, it makes it so committing any type of fraud at all is next to impossible because, again, just the blockchain prevents it in itself because it's completely decentralized. So it is a stable asset in the same way that gold or silver is a stable asset. The only difference is it's a digital stable asset. Now, the big question is, why Bitcoin over coins, right? Like, why there's like 1,000 coins out there, right? I mean, the fucking governments are starting to create their own coins now. Not all of them are based on a like open source type thing where, you know, everyone can see the entire blockchain, so, you know, obviously they can fuck it up. And even Bitcoin isn't the most advanced of the coins. The thing is, though, it has the biggest brand recognition because it was the first of them. And that's the big thing, is that just like how currency, like if I don't believe that the dollar is worth anything, and it's not worth anything, there's no real value to currency in the same way. So when people go, well, there's no value to it, it doesn't exist. Well, same thing with your fucking paper currency, all right? Like it doesn't do anything other than what we say it does.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely, and that's been the case well before cryptocurrency. Like you said before.
Well, it's been the case since we got off the gold standard, because what the currency really was I could go to the Federal Reserve and say, I would like $2 worth of gold, please. And it was a promissory note for gold, which is a stable asset. So once we got off the gold standard, it became effectively wherever the fuck we wanted it to be. And that's, you know, so when people say that Bitcoin and Litecoin, all these other coins, you know, what, they aren't real, they aren't this, they aren't that. They're just as real as any other currency out there. They're as real as most people want them to be real. And because it is a solid asset, like kind of how property will typically always go up no matter what the markets do or whatever currency does, whatever inflation does, the same thing goes with Bitcoin. If, say, the US dollar got inflated to a point where it was only worth half of what it originally is, so now, you know, it takes $20 to get what $10 would have got you yesterday. Well, guess what? What bought you $10 of Bitcoin yesterday will now still get you, you know, would still be around the same relative amount. So if you bought $10 of Bitcoin yesterday, you could sell it for $20 a day. It's going to stay with whatever the... Damn it.
That was good.
That was. But yeah, so it's going to stay stable no matter what, is the point. And so it really is the equivalent of a digital gold, which is pretty cool.
Oh, okay. That was weird.
But no, I love cryptocurrencies. I absolutely love them. I do think the whole Dogecoin, though, is a big conspiracy, though. I think all those hedge fund people started pushing people to go, hey, Doge, go get Doge. It's funny because it's a joke coin, to try to get people away from buying all the stocks that were screwing over the hedge funds, because buying Doge doesn't affect anything at all. It just affects the price of Doge. Which, I mean, it's funny enough because it's just a joke asset in a way, which doesn't have to be, I guess. Technically, it could. If Doge becomes the currency that like everyone uses across the world, it would be hysterical.
Dumber things, I can't say have happened, but I can predict that dumber things will happen in the future. Put it that way.
I mean, for God's sake, we got sea shanty tunes singing about how GameStop saved every man and how the hedge funds, you know, got defeated by people holding. Like, it's amazing. The sea shanty stuff of what's happening right now at GameStop and all, I love it. I adore it. It is great. Oh, God. I don't know why sea shanties became a thing. I don't know why it became a thing, but I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it. I enjoy it. Man, no funny names in here.
Delicious. Let's see.
Yeah, the whole market stuff going on, though. I've had so much fun with it. Jeez.
Yeah, somebody got fucked up down there.
Yeah, I got more to my challenge. Okay, Boomer. As much as I hate the meme, that's a good name for the challenge.
It really is.
Wait, when did you turn to an elite?
Just now. Because I thought my Spartan was ugly as fuck.
Oh.
I have to say that, like, the Halo Online, they don't look as bad in game as
No,
they
they
do,
really
like,
don't.
when you're
Yeah.
picking them out.
You know, originally when I thought we were gonna have everyone here, I was gonna actually have that as a conversation piece, but Yeah, no, I totally agree. I was genuinely surprised at how well it all looked and how it tied in. Which, I mean, I was saying from the get-go, let's just, you know, see what happens with it kind of deal.
Yeah.
But even as someone who was, you know, like, you know, kind of like I was still surprised by it. Like I don't think it's that bad at all. Like the soldier helmet actually looks really good in game, I thought.
Yeah. I mean, they don't look any worse than, like, Halo 4 or 5 armors
They
do.
look better. I think they look better than their Halo 4 counterparts in a lot of ways. I just think because it's also that brighter and more clean aesthetic that typically feels more Halo.
Yeah,
in
that's
general.
true. Yeah, Halo 4 got a little too, like, looks like somebody used the smudge tool in Photoshop.
It was Reach. They were trying to be Reach,
Like,
at least. That's
yeah.
what they wanted.
But, like, they went the opposite direction. Because, like, Reach went gritty, and then Halo 4 went too shiny.
Yeah, it did, and at the same time, it
And then Halo 5 just kind of, like, even furthered the shininess of it, you know?
Yeah, but I feel like the shininess though of Halo 5 is a clean shine, while it doesn't have that smudge effect that like 4 and 5 kind of have. Well, actually, I don't think 5's that bad. I don't like a lot of the new. There's too many armors, and the UI for changing that shit up is awful. Just it is dog shit.
Yeah.
It is terrible.
It really is.
But the armors themselves aren't bad. Like I like the way my Spartan looks in Halo 5. Actually, I really do. But yeah, I think like all the picture I've seen so far of the Halo Infinite Spartans and shit in those screenshots, I kind of dig the look. I think it has that more clean shine to it. That's more Halo 3-esque, and yeah. I'm actually kind of looking forward to kind of seeing how this multiplayer lines out.
With any luck, I guess we'll be playing betas of it pretty soon.
Yeah.
So, which you heard where I guess they said that gold is going to be non-existent for free-to-play games, and
Yeah,
Halo Infinite is going to be a free-to-play game. The multiplayer portion is.
And people are still giving them shit. So here's my rule on a lot of stuff like that, right? So what they did was a stupid decision. We all agreed, like to charge, you know, basically increase the price for gold like they did, right? That was a stupid asshole thing to do, right? At the same time, when someone listens and actually changes, I'm not going to continue to get on them for it. I'm going to go, "Huh, good job. You fixed the issue." And I'm going to leave it at that. Like there's still some people like, well, they only did it because people lost their shit. Well, I mean, why else would anyone do it? Yeah, of course they did because of that. Like, they listened to you. I don't know what you're so angry about. They went, oh God,
I
these
guess just
people
the
are
fact
upset.
that they would do it to start with. I think a lot of people kind of thought Microsoft was over that bit a lot of times.
They aren't.
They're not.
But at the same time,
Like,
took the
Phil
feedback-
Spencer has turned them into, like, I'm Mr. Good Guy at Microsoft, and it's like, no, you're still not a good guy.
yeah.
Like, you just, that was the only way that the Xbox brand could survive after the Xbox One, basically.
He did, so I still say, I mean, I don't know how anyone could have done a better job than him at salvaging what there was to salvage after that disastrous beginning.
But here's the
Right.
thing.
The Xbox
It's
One.
like every E3 for Xbox One was, oh, we're going to have, you know, these great exclusive games. And then next year, oh, yeah, we're going to have these great exclusive games.
were
Now
all
we're in
indies.
the Series X, for God's sake. We're in a next generation. And they're still saying, oh, yeah, eventually we're going to have these great exclusive games. And after a while, it's kind of just like, I don't believe you anymore.
So here's the thing. When they say exclusive, if they mean exclusive to PC and Xbox, I'm okay with that. What about you? Like, would you still count that
Oh
as
no, I'm
fulfilling?
fine with that too. But here's the thing: is that there's still nothing to play. On PC, you at least have the advantage of, hey, you know, I'm not tied to just having Xbox as my source of games. But on Xbox, you got no choice.
But yeah, that's what I was wondering. So, like, if they came out with a bunch of games that were PC and Xbox exclusive that were good, you would count that still as them fulfilling that promise?
Yeah, I would. Well,
Okay.
at this point, it doesn't really matter what I think because that's just the way it's going to be.
Because I've heard a lot of people, they've said, like, yeah, well, the only good thing to have is, like, your Halo or Gears, but they're not even exclusive anymore. And I'm like, well, you can't play them on PlayStation or Nintendo, all right? I'm sorry. For the most part, there's very few console people who are really jumping over to the PC, like, in droves or anything like that. For the most part, you kind of are... Most people are typically kind of one or the other. The casual fans are normally more lean to console, and you know, and not to like say it's a bad thing. I'm just saying, for the most part, you know,
Yeah.
most more casual fans lean to console, and that's not going to change. Like, just because it's out on PC is not going to make the casual fan go, you know what, I need to drop $1,300 on a PC now. Like, that's not what they're going to say.
I mean, I don't I don't know. Like PlayStation as a whole, the UI is very unintuitive. I don't like the controller. I'll give it to them. They got better games. They just do.
See, still not for me. There's no game on there that really hits me that much.
There's no game that I would buy like a PlayStation like just to play. But like at the same time, it's like if I don't know, like if I had one, right, a PS5, and got to play the games on it, I wouldn't complain. But I mean, that would obviously be like some kind of insane scenario.
See, like all the games that like I guess I look forward to and or go back to, they're either PC or Xbox. But again, there's nothing, like, I totally get what people are saying. Like, I totally see why people are fans of shit like Horizon Zero Dawn, right? I totally get why people are fans of that stuff. That type of game has never really been kind of just my type of game.
Yeah.
And, you know, maybe I'll change my mind.
You've never really been like a big release chaser, I call it. Like somebody like Nick even, that like he's playing every game that comes out. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And, okay, like, what is going on? Hello?
Yeah.
Okay, my game is frozen, apparently.
Yeah, I saw you run into a wall. I shot you and killed you.
Yeah, my game crashed.
Oh.
Yeah, that's like... I like Halo was doing that a lot lately. Like, I would be like... It would be like the end of a match, and I would just be like frozen like that. So yeah, that's what was going on.
Well, it's kind of late anyway, I guess.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was getting ready to turn in anyways.
Fly out tomorrow.
But yeah, I mean, even in the PC versus Xbox thing, like, I will grant you that if you have a PC, there's really no reason to get the Xbox.
And that's where I'm at. I'm not gonna get I've decided I'm not gonna go and get the new Xbox. And I'm like, I want to get Infinite on computer. I just am.
Yeah.
And again, like right now, I'm playing with the Xbox controller. Just because I don't know, I am better at Halo on the Xbox controller. Like some most shooters I'm not, but Halo, just something about the way it works.
And that's the thing, is like their ultimate goal at this point isn't really to sell Xboxes anymore, because they know that they can't really compete in just a field of hardware. So if they can get their software out, I mean, that's...
Game Pass alone...
Both Sony and all of them, the big three, they lose money on every console they make.
Yeah.
but software sales is what makes them, turns a profit.
And
So
yeah, I think Game Pass is just going to be the future of just Microsoft's strategy for, money making at this point. I think that's their new business strategy. Is
as much as I hate to say it, it's probably going to be the future of gaming in general.
Yeah,
Subscription based.
I'm mixed in the sense of you don't actually own anything anymore, and like I don't like that. Like I kind of like the fact of owning shit.
My only issue is when like they remove shit from from like people being able to buy it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Or that sense that everything's online now, they just send an update and they change shit about the game that the original had. And I get that some other things that people are bitching about, I guess the add-ons for multiplayer and MCC, but they give you a toggle where you can play it in its original way if you wanted to. But, like, let's look at the fact of, again, like how the Halo 1 graphics are complete dog shit on the Master Chief Collection compared to the original because of one fucking error that Gearbox Studios made. I still have my original copy of Halo for Xbox. If I wanted to go experience it that way, I can. But it's getting to a point where a lot of people never will be able to. Like, for modern games. They're all going to get to a point where, I mean, if they want to...
That's where, and I'm going to shoot myself in the foot by saying this, emulation needs to be, you're not going to make money off of, like, copies of Halo 1 or new copies of Super Mario Brothers. You know what I mean? So it's like, shit like that, I'm honestly, like, at this point, emulation is the best shot we have at preserving a lot of gaming history.
No, it's true. And so here's kind of my thought on the whole emulation thing in a way. Like, I get where they're coming from when they're saying they don't want it. I get where they're coming from. And I do say, for the most part, as the IP owners, they have that right to say no to it. At the same time, it doesn't mean I'm against emulation, right? Like, I get where they're coming from. I think at the end of the day, they're the ones who have the rights to control the IP because they're the ones who invest in the IP. However, oh, damn. I'm also not going to fault people for doing... for basically going on the high seas over there and finding an emulation of the game they loved. Because it does preserve old games. And I still say as a business strategy for the most part, I think it does more good than bad. Like, obviously you can't have people just pirating somewhat new games, but when you're talking a 20-year-old game, if anything, that brings attention to your IP more than banning that game would do.
Yeah.
That, like, going and playing Mario Party 1 made me more excited when that Switch Mario Party came out.
Yeah. Well, and like, as another, for instance, a streamer that I know, she downloaded and played Ocarina of Time for the first time. And she's, I guess, maybe about 3 or 4 years older than us. So, like, she would have been probably more in the age group of playing Ocarina of Time, like, for the first time as a kid, better than we would have been.
Yeah.
But she missed it, either way. And so, I don't know. Like, I guess I'm very kind of sentimental about games, especially a lot of Zelda games, just because, I don't know, like, I maintain, and this is, a very personal and highly, subjective opinion, but I have never felt the same way of being a game as I have any of the Zelda games. Like, every time I beat a Zelda game, I'm like, damn, that shit was a masterpiece.
No, I definitely get it. I mean,
like,
that's how
I've
feel
beaten
about,
Halo, Red Dead Redemption 2, like, tons of games with pretty good stories and stuff like that. But when I beat Breath of the Wild for the first time, I was just like, just damn. Like, that was so good. And beating Ocarina of Time for the first time, I was just like, damn.
No,
Like, that was an experience.
Now I get what you mean, because like I feel that way still about like the first Half-Life game. Like for me personally,
Oh, yeah.
that's like my version of it, where like every time I've beaten it, I'm just like, that was just so nice. Like every time I beat it, I'm like, man, that was just such an amazing game. And you know, I don't know how many times I've beaten it at this point either. It's just every time it's amazing.
Oh yeah. I'm actually I was going back and playing Pokemon Crystal on
Dude,
my
that game
computer.
still rocks.
It really does.
I have it on my phone. Talk about emulators.
Yeah. Well, I can't have it on an iPhone, unfortunately, but on my laptop, and I use I have like a NES controller for the Switch, like the wireless NES and Super NES controllers. So I just like chill back with that, like playing it on my laptop. So,
Yeah, that's Pokemon Crystals. That's an awesome Pokemon game. That one's just great.
I'd still like to go back and do like give Sapphire a proper run. I never got very far in it when I was a kid.
Yeah, I kind of want to actually give them all an honest try, to be honest, because I never played after Crystal, and
Ruby and Sapphire and Emerald are honestly pretty good. I can't speak for any game after that. I can say that Sword and Shield is just the most meh Pokemon game I think I've ever played. Or you're disappointed at both how little has changed and then how much has changed, like in some ways. Like for the Pokemon series being, I think it's 25 years this old this year. I don't know. I just expected more. And I don't know why I did, but I still did. Like they're just and that's the thing, is it's not like I've outgrown it, because you can go back and play Crystal and stuff and still have a blast with it.
yeah.
But Sword and Shield just bore me. And even X and Y I thought were pretty good, but they just made it way too easy.
And on that note, I am going to go ahead and stop the stream. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Next time, we'll hopefully have the full crew with us. But also, thank you, Hayden, for sticking through and just, we went longer than we normally do because me and Hayden talk.
That's true.
But really,
we exchange words.
Yes, we do. But thank you, everybody, for watching.